Okay, I am going to move that we open the Marshfield Conservation Commission meeting for October 19th, 2022. May I have a second?
Seconds?
John,
We're going to do roll call votes tonight, but since Commissioner Ring is not here, I think we can just do an all in favor.
yeah, I believe you're right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's a 5-0 with Commissioner Ring joining a little later, Chris.
So we are, as usual, in a hybrid mode. We have both Zoom and in person. In the event of technological breakdown, we will continue in person. Applicants have 5 minutes to present. The administrator and the agent have 1 minute to comment. There will be a 10-minute commissioner discussion period that is closed. It is only between commissioners. Then we will open it up to public comment. I see that there may be people here for the Harbor Master 200 Drybeck Way. That RDA is going to be withdrawn. So we are simply going to vote on that, and it will come back in the future as a notice of intent, but that this will be withdrawn and there will be no action taken for a while.
It won't be discussed at all.
It won't be discussed.
Well, she'll withdraw, okay, and that's it.
Yeah. So, but it will come before us in the future as a notice of intent. But there will be no discussion on that tonight. Okay. We didn't have any minutes, correct?
I apologize.
Nope, that's okay, I'm just... All right, we will move right to business items. The first being
Okay, so next time I'll do it.
de minimis activity for 250 Damon's Point Road, a utility trenching. Is there anyone here to discuss this? You
Yeah, I can touch on this.
want to do this?
So I spoke to the homeowner down there, George Welsh. 250 Damon's Point Road is a private way, would not require a road cutting permit or anything from the DPW. He simply owns this parcel across the street from his home. He'd like to dig a small trench about 1 foot wide, 6 inches deep, and 20 feet long to bury a length of PVC in which he can put a garden hose and take it out, insert it seasonal, seasons permitting, and then also install a single post with like a spigot on it for water access to water things over there. It's only in land subject to coastal storm flowage.
Okay.
So
I think the other thing is maybe comment on the town engineer's comments. There were some really good details.
Oh, yeah. The town engineer gave comments and suggestions, which I forwarded to the homeowner. His comments include using a conduit, Schedule 80 PVC, 1 foot gravel cover minimum, and to run the hose through it so it can be removed, repaired, kind of avoid seasonal freezing, etc. Pitch the conduit to aid in draining, and add a pull string for installation purposes for the home. If there's a homeowners association, they should be consulted and written confirmation should be provided to the commission. Use for intermittent lawn or garden watering would not require any additional permitting or construction practices. Use for irrigation requires a check valve or a suitable backflow device. Yeah, that's essentially it. 4 commissioners have already agreed that this would be a candidate for a de minimis activity.
Okay. Any additional commissioner comment? In that case, I move that we vote to approve the construction of a covered water line through a private way as a de minimis activity with special conditions.
Second.
So it sounded Bert, I heard Dave, and I heard John. Bert, you? Okay, let's go with Bert.
Is
500.
Joe on yet?
I'm not seeing him, but
Okay, in that case, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, that's de minimis. Next up is item B2, 35 parsonage. This is coming from Cindy Castro, our beach administrator, and I see her on Zoom. Would you like to explain this one for us, Cindy? You are, no, that's not Cindy.
Okay, we can kind of take over. Mike and I have the
Yeah.
handle on these.
You
so
have these.
We
Okay.
can run with them. Cindy came in and met with Mike and I, and I'd like to take it.
Yep.
Go ahead.
For 35 Parsonage, the proposed project is installing a shed. This would be in land subject to coastal storm flowage only and would be just outside of the 100-foot buffer to bordering vegetated wetlands. The shed itself would be approximately 200 square feet. And it's located at 35 Parsonage Street, parcel I-07-03-11.
Okay. Any commissioner comment? I move that we vote to approve the construction of a shed as a de minimis activity with special conditions. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, now we have Commissioner Ring, so we will do roll call vote. Commissioner Good?
Aye.
Vice Chair?
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Commissioner Ring?
Ring, yes.
And I am a yes.
Okay. So for the record, Joe Ring joins at 6:38, Chris.
Okay, next up is 0 Beach Street, vegetative maintenance and fence replacement.
I'll take this one as
You'll
well.
take that one?
Yep. The subject site is existing parking lot going back to the 1990s, based on a review of aerials. The wetland and wetland change maps has a wetland delineation slightly overlapping the subject site. The proposed work would replace an existing fence and adding fencing made of 1-foot piles and rope. So 1-foot piles staggered and rope connecting the piles. They'll be about 3 to 4 feet off the ground along the same location as the existing split rail fence. The piles would be connected by rope and prevent access to the wetlands. The beach administrator would also add conservation markers to these piles.
Okay. Any commissioner comment or discussion? Hearing none, I move that we vote to approve this, let's see, as a de minimis activity. May I have a second?
That's gonna be Dave Good.
Commissioner Good?
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
And I am a yes.
So all passes.
Okay.
Nice job.
And next up is
Oh,
final beach commission issue. This is 0 Avon Street. Proposed work includes vegetative management and managing colonizing plants. And which one of you would like to?
You can grab this one too.
Okay.
This is a very similar project as the previous one that we discussed, 0 Avon. The proposed work includes vegetative management, such as maintenance clearing of dead trees and colonizing herbaceous and shrub plants, planting with native coastal plant species such as American beach grass, and also invasive and opportunistic plant management. The administrator would also remove the existing fence sections adjacent to Avon Street, and specifically parcel M04-11-02A, and would replace that with, the existing fence with the 1-foot piles and rope as discussed previously. Any use of herbicide or chemical treatment requires the submittal of a notice of intent. And the subject area is in land subject to coastal storm flowage and buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands and also riverfront.
All right. Any commissioner input? In that case, I move that we vote to approve the vegetation management and fence replacement as de minimis activities. May I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Ring?
Votes yes. Joe Wing, yes.
Mr. Dodge?
Yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Craig Hanafin, yes?
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Dave Good, yes.
Okay. Now we have item number B5, 599 Summer Street, and I believe I see the homeowners on Zoom.
Okay.
Yes, we're present.
Would Bill or Mike, do you want to address this?
I think they have a handle on it.
Do they want to?
Yeah,
Okay.
they can run through it. This has been a multi-year permit, and they've been in good standing, so.
Okay, so if you would go ahead and present this for us, please?
And your name and name for the record, sir?
Yes, my name is George Stiebel. I live at 599 Summer Street.
Welcome.
And if you would just give us a run-through of what you would like to do here?
Okay, so on the map here, we have number one is the 2 ash trees that are significantly leaning over the house. During these storms that we've been having, they've been swaying, and, you know, they could cut the house in half if one decided to break. And then number 2, upon doing work on the crushed stone driveway, I discovered a slab which is 7 to 10 inches sunken down, and and it was, the material was grainy, chafing, and readily broken, indicating that the pad is several decades old. So I'd like to get a so we replaced the pad with proper protocols, so now it's a functioning pad. And then number 3, the planting update. I'd like to take the opportunity to demonstrate that we have maintained the permit in good standing per the 2007 NOI narrative. We have planted 16 of the recommended wetland replication plants, and 12 to 16 have survived, meeting the 75% successful growth. We've also spread the metal mix in the wetlands replicating area. We've installed 6x6 GT timbered border with 2-inch reveal on the wetland border in the barn. And then number 4, pending update, lastly, as an update, excuse me, at this time, we're seeking favorable funding before we proceed. We've been approved the barn, all the work would commence in the future. Just waiting on some funding.
Okay, but you're not planning to do that at this time?
Correct.
Okay.
They have an extension, they've got a valid permit, it's a good update. You have an after-the-fact concrete pad. I mean, it seemed legitimate when I heard about it, Mike heard about it. The trees are leaning, we'd have the pictures, I think we shared them earlier. Just keeping it simple here, 4 activities, 2 are updates, and 1 proposed tree removal, and then you have the pad. This property was always, it's 1800s, I forget the age of it, so it's been down near the wetlands for a long time. There was an enforcement order, and then it was an after-fact permit, so it's all permitted up, and they want to come back and stay in good standing. They don't want to take 2 trees down without your permission. They did do the pad, but they thought it was logical. They spoke to me, I said, that is an after the fact, you need to disclose that to the commission. If they want a separate permit, they'll let you know, or they will give you a de minimis under this permit that you have right now. I said, while you're at it, give us an update, since we want to keep it in good standing,
Okay. I am fine with de minimis on this. Does anyone have a different feeling?
I agree, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, you would know it, okay. In that case, I move that we vote to approve the proposed tree removal as a de minimis activity and the after-the-fact reconstruction of a concrete driveway pad as a de minimis activity to be captured under the request for a certificate of compliance. May I have a second?
Second.
David, good?
Okay, Commissioner Good?
Yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Joe Ring? And I am a yes.
600 in favor. All right, so we'll issue, Mike will issue a de minimis activity so that you have a record for that and maintain it. And when you go for your CSC, please do remind the commission about that at that point in time. Very good. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Item B6 is 3 Trounce Island, a deck and roof expansion.
Right, and I think Nick is here. Nick, are you, I'm gonna see if we can use our plan. If you want to take over and have some co-hosting control, please advise. Okay, Nick is here. I know, I just saw him. He's just on the bottom down there. Nick? Hey, hi. Do you want to have co-hosting control, or what do you want to do there?
No, you're fine. You're fine with this right here. This works perfect. Thank you.
Okay, right there, or do you want it moved?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
So this is Nicholas Lane from Grady Consulting here for 3 Torrance Island on behalf of the McLaughlins. They back in the beginning of the year, you folks had approved them to pull this structure out of the resource area and reset it back out at the top of the hill a little bit. And they just want to reconfigure. There's a proposed sun porch on the top. You can see the dash 10.5 by 14 area. They want to put that on, and they want to basically square the deck off to the north direction. This is just shy of a 200 square foot increase since the deck was already previously counted as impervious. And then there's a little bit of a, I think it's a gas overhang on the left-hand side of the structure. So we're just hoping to get this looked at as a de minimis activity to be approved upon COC.
Additionally, the two things that I would say, maybe Nick was not able to expand on it, is first off, the property moved, the house moved back away from the resource area. If you look right up here, you see this faint area. This was the original location, so it's moving back a betterment. It is an increase, but it's pilings. They were concerned about that because they know they're in a sensitive area near the South River. They're definitely 100% inside a riverfront. It goes all the way out to here. And they're just barely within the 100-foot buffer. It's primarily going to be decking, covering, and additional roofing, and it's this area right up in here. It's not a full addition or anything of that ilk. I don't think you need to worry about segmentation too much in with regards to this. If they change it later on and they come back and they want to turn that into a closed area, they'll have to get a new permit. That's all. And you can deal with it at that time.
Okay. Anyone object to this as de minimis? You're frowning.
No.
No? Okay. In that case, I move that we vote to approve I vote that we move to approve the proposed deck and roof deviations as de minimis activity to be captured under the request for certificate of compliance. May I have a second?
Second.
John?
Okay, Commissioner Ring?
Joe Ring, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Dave Good, yes.
And Craig Hannafin, yes.
Good, Joe.
I got Joe.
Joe, 600. Have a good night. It's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This one, the next one, Chair Hannafin, the wires
Let me
across.
just say what it is first. It's item B7, it's 44 Old Beach Road. Okay.
All right, so you're on Grafton, right? So they contacted us, or Mr. Grant has called us. He's been a great steward of this project, and he really wanted his landscape architect to be with them. He's got somebody from Sion. She did a fabulous job putting together all the pieces, and I think you've all seen it. It's been provided to you. There's a ton of changes, but the question is, you have John Zimmer, who's done a nice job of saying that the plantings are in line. You have questions about new hardscape, and then pervious. And he'd like to just postpone until November 2nd so we can have those ducks in a row. And he didn't want to go alone. I said, well, Mr. Grant, you might be able to go this alone. He just didn't want to do it. You know what I mean? So we'll see him on the 2nd.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna postpone this.
Yeah, I would say table this to the...
Table to November
Yeah, to make it
2nd.
formal. Because he's got an open order of conditions, and I just
Okay.
don't want it to be messed up.
All right, and the final business item is...
Oh, you need a vote to table.
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. November
Okay,
2nd.
I move that we vote to table 44 Old Beach Road to the November 2nd meeting. May I have a second?
Second.
John?
Mr. Good?
Dave Good, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Joe Ring,
Ray Ring, yes.
and Craig Hanafin is yes.
6:00, okay, we'll see them when they're ready. You got all your materials. All right,
So next up is 969 Ocean Street Cell Tower Platform. And this was approved as a de minimis activity on September 21st.
I'm very sorry I put it on there. I really apologize.
This is just a carryover, no further action required.
Yep, sorry about that.
Nope, that's okay.
Clerical error on me. Okay then.
All right. I am going to go through the scheduled continued hearings. Just get one thing here. All right, 76 Carolyn Circle, SE 422950. Vote to continue this to, do we have a date?
Yeah, I see what I've done here. This is the first December meeting, which we need to get a phone out because I know what it is when I get the phone. All right, any help I can get from the people in the crowd is always appreciated. When I don't get the help from the people in the crowd, I just delay. All right, to December 7th, okay?
December, okay. I move that we vote to continue this to December 7th.
7. Yep.
Sorry
May I
about
have
that.
a second?
Second.
John, okay.
Okay. Commissioner Ring?
Ray Ring, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Dave Good, yes.
And Craig Hanafin, yes.
Yeah, and I do have that in an email just for the public. What happened is it came in and he asked for November 23rd. We don't have a meeting. And I said, well, you want the 16th of November or do you want December 7th? And I just forgot to update this. Sorry.
Okay.
More clerical errors.
Yep. Next up is 1184 Ferry Street, SE 42.
I do have J.O. for yeah.
2989. I move that we vote to continue to November 16th meeting. May I have a second?
Second.
Dave Good.
Okay. Dave?
Dave Good, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Ray Ring, yes.
And Craig Hanafin, yes. Next is 1203 Ferry Street, SE 422988. I move that we vote to continue to November 16th, 2022. May I have a second?
Second.
I heard two voices. I heard Ken, I think, or Joe.
I
Ken,
heard
did you
Ken.
speak? Okay. Sorry, Dave.
Sorry.
All right,
Oh,
Ken
I'm
Dodge
sorry.
on that
I didn't
one.
hear you.
I did. He's right next to me.
Mr.
Right?
Good?
Dave Good, yes.
Alrighty.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Ray Ring, yes.
Craig Hanafin, yes.
Alrighty.
Okay.
This one you need the legal ad?
And this will be continued, but it is a new hearing. I will read the legal ad. Where'd I put it? Okay. 12 Olympia Road, Marshfield. In compliance with the regulations of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Code of the Town of Marshfield, Chapter 294, Wetlands Protection, a public hearing will be held by the Marshfield Conservation Commission on Wednesday, October 19th, 2022 at 6:30 to consider the notice of intent filed by Joseph Pizzaferi for the raise and rebuild of an existing family home. Okay, so I move that this is continued to November 2nd. May I have a second?
Second.
Joe?
Mr. Good?
Dave Good, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Ray Ring, yes.
And Craig Hanafin, yes. Okay. I believe that is all of the continuations.
What about 20 Dog Lane, Bill?
It's going to continue, and thank you, Bert, for bringing that up. Either you catch it now or later. What happened there was a third clerical error on me, and I missed that during the meeting, the vote included continuing to November 2nd. I apologize.
All right, so let's just do that right now.
Thanks, Bert.
Yeah, thanks, Bert. I didn't, okay, I move 20 Dog Lane, SE 423002. I move that we vote to continue to
11/02/2022.
November
2nd,
2nd,
2022.
2022. May I have a second?
Second.
Second.
I think that's John's.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Commissioner Ring,
Ray Ring, yes.
Commissioner Dodge,
Ken Dodge, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Dave Good, yes.
and Craig Hannafin, yes. Okay. On to
Okay,
public hearings.
correct. First one's Carmody, I believe.
The first is Carmody, 1329 Ferry Street, addition to a single family home. I will read the legal ad. In compliance with the regulations of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Code of the Town of Marshfield, Chapter 294, Wetlands Protection, a public hearing will be held by the Marshfield Conservation Commission on Wednesday, October 19th, 2022, to consider the request for determination of applicability filed by Robert Carmody. And the hearing officer is Commissioner John O'Donnell.
Thank you. I see Mr. Carmody's here. Let me just, before we get started, I'll let you present the project, Michael. The administrative requirements have been met? Taxes, fees, utilities are up to date?
Yep.
Okay.
And we'll have your project up in a second. I just got a little distracted here with all the
Okay.
activity. There you
Michael
go.
and I were out at the site. We visited the site, you know, but since you're here, Mr. Carmody, rather than me talk about the project, why don't you talk about the project?
Robert Carmody, 1329 Ferry Street. We're just looking to add two-story, 12 by 16 at the back side of the house. We're looking to make this our primary residence with a foundation on it. This is a previously disturbed area that has a lawn in the back. And as you can see, it just, the coastal waters dotted line there. It's just inside of the buffer zone. We did put the addition in the back because the septic is in the front of the house and, you know, would be further into the coastal water zone, buffer zone also, if it's like that. And then I've been aware of a certificate of compliance that's overdue, and I've got the paperwork in for that.
That's for the front deck?
For the front deck,
Yeah,
correct.
okay. No, I think, like I said, Michael and I were out there. We looked over the property. It is, the property, the house was built in 1924 originally.
Yep.
Obviously, it's still not a 1924 house. Looks like it was done about within the last 5 or so years, completely redone.
6 years ago.
Yeah, looks very nice. It's within the riverfront, and it is also, the house itself is beyond the floodplain.
Right,
It's-
right, that blue line right
And,
there.
so therefore, no flood vents are required or anything like that. In terms of the buffer zone, it was kind of interesting. The addition is essentially outside the buffer zone, except, I don't know if you can see, there's a real thin little red line there that
Yeah,
maybe.
it's minuscule.
You know, eyeballing it, it looks like maybe, I think, what is it, 12 by 16?
Yes.
12 feet deep?
Yeah.
So maybe like 2 or 3 feet, you know, with a slanted line back the other way is
Down to
within.
0.
Yeah, within, so it's, you know, when I looked at it, it's probably, it's about a 200 square foot addition in terms of the footprint.
Correct.
It's probably like less than 10% of that
Yes.
is within the buffer zone. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a pretty solid project. I mean, Michael, do you have any comments or any thoughts?
Yeah, just like what Mr. Carmody said here, it's moving away from the resource area. It's moving to his backyard, previously manicured lawn. He wants to be a full-time resident in this town, and yeah, I think it's a very reasonable project.
Okay.
And just for the record, he also did a return of the analysis about where the location was. This is probably way better than if you put it in the front.
Yeah.
And he really can't because of the septic. Board of Health actually asked us that, and we were ahead of them for a change, which is great. And
Yeah.
they agreed it, and they had no more comments. So a very nice job by Mike and Mr. Carmody and John, you as well. My compliments.
Okay. So are there any, I'm assuming, anybody in the audience have any questions or comments? Anybody on Zoom have any questions or comments? Any of our commissioners have any questions or comments? Okay, so without further ado, I suggest that we vote to issue a positive determination number 5 for the bylaw and a negative number 2 with special conditions. Mike, you have some special conditions to read off?
Yep. Ensure best management practices and building codes are followed. Before commencing the work, obtain all subsequent permits, including Marshfield zoning boards of appeals and building permits. See conservation administrator or agent for guidance on conservation permits for work beyond the approved work activities.
Sounds good.
Oh, so, I'm sorry, this is my second
Oh, we can
hearing
do
that I've
5.
read, so I'm gonna I made a little faux pas. So I made the motion,
No, not
so I make
at
a
all.
motion.
Just gotta keep
I-
going.
I did the motion, to vote to issue a positive determination 5 for the bylaw and negative number 2 with special conditions. Do I have a
Need a
second?
second.
You got Craig, nice job. You know, you get a roll
Second.
call vote.
Roll call?
Dave Good, yes.
Bert?
O'Donnell, yes.
Craig?
Craig Hanafin, yes?
Ken Dodge, yes.
Joe?
Joe Wing, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
6-0, very well done on a roll call vote.
I thought I was gonna.
Thank you.
You know, like-
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
It's kind of like golfing, you drive, you hit the ball.
Don't talk about the golf today.
Welcome to full-time in Marshfield.
Yeah, right.
That's a great location.
Beautiful spot.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for working and being so diligent. We'll get you on the RCOC very soon and get that wrapped up. All
Thank you.
right.
Thank you.
All right, next is 50 MacArthur Lane, also a new hearing. In compliance with the regulations of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Code of the Town of Marshfield, Chapter 294, Wetlands Protection, a public hearing will be held by the Marshfield Conservation Commission on Wednesday, October 19th, to consider the request for determination of applicability filed by Kate Duval. And once again, the hearing officer is Commissioner John O'Donnell.
Okay, so, Michael, administrative requirements, taxes, fees, utilities,
Yes.
they're all up to date?
Yes.
I know there was something, was there a utility that had not been,
We don't worry about the utilities. It's a real estate that we are following
Okay.
up on. It's sort of an agreement that was established. God only knows when
Okay,
exactly. But
good.
real estate is what we primarily target,
I'm
unless
learning.
told otherwise.
okay. So Michael and I also went out and did a site visit on Monday. I don't know, is Kate here to present, or,
Maybe on.
Kate, are you here?
I see her right there. Hi, Kate.
Yep, I'm on Zoom.
Oh, there it is, okay. Kate, would you like to talk about the project?
I think Mike and Bill might do a better job in terms of summarizing it for you guys, but if you have questions, I'm here to answer any of those.
Okay.
Okay. You wanna
I'll
summarize it?
take the lead, and then if you want to contribute anything, feel more than free to do so.
Okay, great.
So the lawn area there is overgrown with invasive and opportunistic plants. The intended purpose is to remove these overgrown plants and plant a salt-tolerant grass such as tall fescue to have more of a manageable manicured lawn area. The homeowner would also like the option to plant willow trees along the rear of the property. There's a lot of standing water back there, so that might help dry things up in the area. There will also be some gravel work done to the walks and a small driveway area. As you can see, the walk areas are here and here, and that's the driveway area. This is the limit of tall fescue planting, and then this would be the optional willows back here. And then the gravel walkways are, they would like to improve the one in the front there, and also the driveway down there is previously mulched, manicured area. Commissioner O'Donnell and I noticed that there was mulch down in the area, and yep, the purpose of that walkway would be to connect the driveway and the path to the front door. Yep, that essentially summarizes it.
Yeah, I mean, this property borders the vegetated wetlands on two of the four
Yes, you can
sides.
see the wetland flags on this delineation
And
here.
then across the back, so it is,
Across the
you know,
back.
so it is definitely within land subject to coastal storm damage, riverfront. It's within 100 feet of the buffer zone, but the work that's being done is essentially just cleaning up
Yep.
weeds that have overtaken the yard, potentially planting some willow trees out back, and also laying down some gravel on some walkways, and maybe extending a little bit in a parking area that already exists. So I think it's a pretty straightforward project that's just gonna improve the property, so. Anybody in the audience, any questions or comments? Anybody on Zoom have any questions and comments? Commissioners? Oh, Michael? Bill?
Just one thing, Mike and I want to just emphasize, Mrs. Duvall, if this practice that you have doesn't work and you need to do something like herbicide, it's not covered on this permit, okay? It's hand removal. Most of those plants are shallow rooted, and they're going to be on top of, you know, some cases gravel, et cetera, as we know. So you're going to have to take them out and just remove them and do it by hand for a while until you get it up to under control. If you need herbicide, you're down near the Bass Creek, and you really need to have a licensed applicator handle that. And DEP is advised that use of that kind of thing requires an NOI. And that's a little more involved, okay?
That's fine. Is there any way, does it limit us to, like, say, machinery? If we had a machine come in and take it out?
We weren't really getting into that. We just don't want chemicals, I
Oh,
think.
that's fine, yeah, we weren't planning on using chemicals at all, so.
Yeah.
So I was gonna cite the special conditions, so I don't know, Mike, are there any other special conditions you wanna cite, or?
I'll read off the special conditions here. Ensure best management practices, building codes are followed before commencing the work. Obtain all subsequent permits, including Marshfield Board of Appeals and, including Marshfield Zoning Board of Appeals and building permits. See conservation administrator or agent for guidance on conservation permits for work beyond the approved work activities. And spraying or otherwise applying herbicides is not covered under this permit.
Correct.
Okay, great.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion to vote to issue positive determination number 5 for the bylaw and negative number 2 with special conditions that Mike has just read off. Is there a second?
Second.
That's David Good.
All
All
right,
right, you guys are a little late, all right? Come a little quicker next time, all right? Ken and Jill.
I need a buzzer.
All right, we'll do that.
so, we'll do the vote. Joe?
Bill Wing, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes?
Craig Hannafin, yes?
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Dave Good, yes.
Okay.
Did you get yourself, John? You got
Oh, I'm
yourself?
sorry, John O'Donnell, yes.
600, okay, great.
Okay, very good. Next up
Okay.
is 274 Foster. Who is taking this?
This is Susan Karen, that is the chair's call. She's out today, so.
I will take it. Okay. So this is a continued hearing for the elevation of a single-family home. Is there someone here to present?
Your name
Go
for the
ahead.
record.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Paul Dacus from Grady Consulting on behalf of the applicant Sam Speakman. To represent 274 Foster Ave, this was presented to the board about a year ago and was continued a couple of times while we resolved some issues with the foundation. The purpose of this project is to take an existing house and to elevate it above the floodplain. The site is within land subject to coastal flooding, and it is also within a barrier beach and a coastal dune. That put constraints on us in terms of the type of foundation, so when we went back to the drawing board, we were able to develop the proposed foundation will consist of helical piles with a pile cap, and then a concrete pier to help raise the house above the elevation. Within the, for erosion control, silt sock is proposed around the perimeter of the property, and approximately
I'm gonna get it for you, don't worry.
about 16 to 18 piers, if I'm counting here, would be placed to help elevate the house. It would be 2 feet above the flood elevation. The flood elevation is elevation 19. The bottom of the structure, lowest member of the structure would be 21. The first floor would be approximately 23. With that, I guess I'll open it up to any questions you may have.
Sorry about that, Paul, I'm doing it right now. We got the wrong one in there, so we'll go ahead and help you out here. So this is the new plan here, the revised plan, which just came in this October. And, okay, so I'm gonna zoom in on the filings down here.
Just to refresh the existing conditions, the existing conditions, there's a crawl space with a basement. So obviously that would all be removed and replaced with clean coarse sand. And then the new piles with the pile caps and the concrete piers would be placed in its place, significantly reducing impervious area on the site. This would also help with storm flowage, as the storm flowage would be able to go across the site and not be channelized around the site.
All right, so they're looking at the plans because we're struggling here. We put up.
Well, why don't you
Yeah,
give us your input?
yeah, I will in a sec here. So, let's see if we just get this thing back. Basically, what we have is we have a very unique type of pile that's provided. They're more clear on your structural plans. And if you look at S 2.2, I believe, you'll see that what the structures are. I'm going to attempt to get that one up and running in a second here so you can see it a little better. I really apologize. What we have is we have helical piles which are attached by what they call caps. The caps are underground, and then you have two helical piles going below that. If you look at the structurals, which are the multi-strip sheets, you'll see that. So typically in this environment, which is a floodplain VE, it's a Berry Beach coastal dune, footings are not allowed. However, these are called caps, and I've been seeking out some guidance from Andrew Stewart, from the Rod Procaccino, from Rebecca Haney, and there's a variety of things. Andrew's not gotten a chance to get back because I didn't send out the agenda to him in a timely manner. I did send the specifics on this one to him, and he's seeking out his own further comments. Rebecca Haney looked at it. She and I think it's footings, but that's for the commission to call and not for us. We're just giving the guidance on that. And so, long story short, we have got the commission basically has to think about the possibility that these would be potentially footings which don't comply, because you're supposed to have open columns or open piers, or we need some kind of a further information. Additionally, on the structural plans, which I'm not showing right now, unfortunately, you have got so you've got footings, and there's language on there that geotechnical review needs to be brought in. There's a reference also to a Green Harbor Marina, which is just a clerical error, and I sort of think we need a better definition. We need more experts to weigh in on whether these are footings or not. The town engineer said this is a hybrid between your classic footing and something pretty unique, because what happens is the footing is there and then the piles go down as screws below it, and that's what I was trying to pull up for you here.
Yeah, well, we have it here in front of us. Commissioner comment.
I mean, I'd like to comment. One question that I have is, this is still going to have to go through the building department to pass the FEMA requirements, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I sent it down to Andrew, and he needed more time to respond. And then again, I didn't give him the agenda early enough, but I sent this out a little bit kind of cattywampus shortly after, because I could see it was unique and it needed to have a little bit better review from other departments. So we've reached out. I don't think you have all the clear and convincing information just yet, whether to make a call on this being a footing or not. And you wouldn't want to leave here because it's Berry Beach coastal dune for sure, and the conditions that are provided and what's allowed here can help the other departments. So we don't want to over-regulate, we want to co-regulate in this case.
I personally think we need some more input from the building department. Anyone else? What,
Yeah, have you applied for a floodplain permit?
We've prepared the existing conditions, flood certification. I mean, the flood elevation certificate?
No, there's actually, since this was originally filed, the new floodplain permit system has come in.
I'm not familiar with this, so I'm gonna say no.
So you haven't got a building permit yet?
No, the structural engineer is actually meeting with
Okay.
you tomorrow.
So this is
So
probably,
so it all
yeah,
goes along with the same questions we've had. I
Yeah.
think you're gonna run into, more requests for information there.
and catching both places, Paul, is a good idea. Commissioners, I really apologize, I do have these up, I think this is instrumental. Paul, I'm sorry I broke up you did a really nice job here. Everybody's impressed with what you're doing here, but the question is footings. So all these units right here are individual piles and columns, and they're better shown on your sheets on this one here. And so it's this area here that I'm talking about. These are the caps that are underground. The columns go up like they're supposed to, and you have the screws down here, and it's very different than we've seen in the past. Normally, you'd have a footing similar to this with big foots going out on the sides. That would be a no-go typically per the building matrix. Now, the building commissioner really needs to weigh in on that. It's his jurisdiction, but we're co-regulating because this is also Berry Beach Coastal Dune and VE floodplain. And back in 2008, the state agencies for conservation, the state agency for building coordinated to make things simpler. So this is something we need to find the happy point, you might say. And
well, why are you coming up as muted on the Zoom?
can you hear me or not? Can people hear
I
me?
mean, I can hear you.
All right, Joe Rain, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So
Okay.
I'm on mute because I will get reverberations. That's typically what we do.
Oh, okay, I just want
Thanks
to make
for-
sure that
Yeah, fair
the
enough.
hybrid can hear you.
Sorry again, but you've done a nice job here. It's just we got to figure out whether or not this hybrid here is a footing or not, because it's underground. And the two things that Rebecca and I were talking about on this, and she's the state, part of the state people, we're trying to bring them in also on something different, is when you have this, you get additional scour around these kind of blocks when the water comes in and digs this deep. And that's one of the concerns. The other one is, if the house was to completely go off and fall, it's gonna damage the dune more if it has these kind of footings or big foots. And so that's the concern. Now, they may argue that you've got the screws down here, right, in this hybrid style, and that it'll pull right out, but you are gonna lose more dune if the house were to collapse. And to say that that doesn't happen, we have got that problem around the state and other parts of the country, and it's something you have to contemplate. And so the reason that a lot of what's going on is functionality of the dune for flood control and storm damage prevention, and footings are typically not allowed. However, I don't know if that's a footing or not. And so the commission has to get as much information as it can to find that out. I mean, it's a great design. Andrew even said it was interesting. We're waiting his comments. I gotta give him more time, I think. And we could use help from CZM maybe.
Is there any comment from the public? Hearing none, I am going to make a motion that we vote to continue this to, do you want a date certain, Bill?
What do you need, Paul? Like a month or you want?
Given the people you're working with, how much time do they need, I guess?
Well, they've got it. I've already heard back from Rod, and I got an email, okay? So I got that I can send to you.
The
I
building
don't have,
commissioner has reached out to,
Is a month sufficient time? I don't want to say 2 weeks and then 2 weeks.
well, what you can do is you can control it, right, by going out to the second, right? And then if we don't have the feedback enough time so that you can reach the, I think you're gonna be October 26th, deadline 12 noon for anything new, then you'd be looking at moving out to the 16th at that point.
Yeah, can we just do the 16th?
Yeah, you're fine. If you want to do that, that's good. But we need to kind of lean in and get you connected with the building commissioner also, so that you can kind of move this forward. He should be getting state comments and his own comments, and I may be hearing back more from Rebecca or somebody at CZM. This is to the townwide benefit. You know, we're trying to co-regulate and not regulate unilaterally and cause overregulation.
so I move that we vote to continue this to the November 16th public meeting. May I have a second?
Second?
John?
Commissioner Ring?
Bill Ring, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Craig Hannafin, yes?
Bert O'Donnell, yes?
Dave Good, yes.
Okay.
Okay, this is
Thank
6:00.
you.
Paul, nice work on this. Very impressive. I just don't know if we can or can't fly, and we'll get there. Yeah, yep, not a problem.
All right, next up is 12 Gilbert Street, reconstruction of a revetment, and this is continued. Hearing officer is Vice Chair O'Donnell.
Okay, thank you. See a rep from Stenbeck and Taylor?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Taylor?
Bear with me, guys, I'll get you with something. Is this, this is the Gilbert one, right?
Yeah, it's been continued, so everything's been
Yeah, is
verified.
that it there? Rick, really? Okay, what's that thing here? All right, there we go. Okay, we'll be sharing a second there, Bert, and I will be back in the saddle so shortly.
Can I start off with a little intro?
Yeah, go right ahead.
The applicant's proposing to reconstruct and fortify an existing stone revetment located on the property. The property is waterfront property at the end of Gilbert Street on the left as you're going out to the water. It's located directly on coastal beach. It's also located on Berry Beach of the E13 flood zone, and a portion of the revetment is within an NHP ESP priority habitat, PH 910 specifically. The total of the reconstructed revetment will match the existing, and will not, the revetment itself will not extend further seaward than the existing. Height of the new wall will also match the existing. The new set of granite stairs is proposed to improve access to the beach in the new wall connecting the deck area to the beach. And all the disturbed areas above the wall will be stabilized and revegetated. You can see we have the existing condition with substantial existing revetment. It's just that after getting battered over so many storms, it needs improvement. Paul Brogdon from Seacoast Engineering provided the engineering cross-section and design on the revetment. He's at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame tonight, so he's not here.
He's having more fun than we
Yeah, I
are.
really think about doing it.
Where is he?
He's at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, good for him. He deserves a break. That man is a killer.
Still has to be in
Very
Cleveland.
good man.
Good point. Good point. So Paul's done a ton of revetment work, and we've done quite a bit of work with Paul jointly in town, as you guys know. We were fortunate that we got a conditional find of no take from Fish and Wildlife. They did suggest some inclusion of conditions in, hopefully in the approval. And the goal is just, again, just to tighten up the existing condition that we have already.
Thank you. You want to comment, Bill?
Yeah, sure. Let's see what we got here. All right, yeah, you got, so to Mr. Taylor's comments, the time of year constraint was from April 1 through August 31st from the Natural Heritage. They have an authorization duration. We tend to try to do these kind of things that have periodic maintenance with ongoing conditions. They've countered here with a 5-year, so their permit would expire differently. They also want notice of the order of conditions, so we've got that built into the order of conditions so that they're aware. And the species of concern is piping plovers, so that's that. We've been out to the property, and there's some vegetation that's doing very well up in here. I think you've seen the pictures on the Google Drive. If you haven't, you're gonna have to imagine. So there's plants all throughout here. This gives a continuity and a structure to it. When they change it, they're gonna have to reset it all. It's gonna collapse. The plants are gonna go. Some kind of plantings would be a good idea because it basically allows the vegetation to grow. I'm not saying multi-year, reports from, what do you call it, qualified wetland scientists, but stability-oriented stuff. So if they save the plants, they put them back, they'll grow, and they'll stabilize the thing. So some of the comments I had also was, we're in a Berry Beach coastal dune, coastal beach, and land subject coastal form flowage, and an artificial coastal bank composed of revetment. So that's one thing. We'll send a copy of the conditions to the Natural Heritage, and know that these orders expire 3 years from the date of issuance, and utilize extension order conditions, extend the permit, or 5 file for a request certificate of compliance with ongoing conditions for periodic maintenance as appropriate, so that this carries. But then you'll still deal with natural heritage on a 5-year level. Register both sets of orders of Plymouth County Register of Deeds, post a mass DEP sign, obtain all subsequent permits, all the other standard items. Confirm in writing that both the applicant and contractor have read and understand the Natural Heritage Endangered Species Program, letter dated October 11, 2022. It's Natural Heritage number 22-41338 that includes special conditions detailed below. According to pre-con, construction, site meeting with the Conservation Administrator or agent. Typical, typical D2 during the conditions, during the construction. Follow plan of record in the maintenance of the revetment wall. Boundaries of the revetment wall are not to exceed the limits of the approved plan of record. Only use materials that are part of the original revetment wall or new imported materials. Do not take materials from the beach. This undermines the integrity of the coastal beach. It could affect wildlife. Do not disturb coastal plants that are established. So I would recommend transplanting, save them, put them on the side, put them in burlap, reuse them. If they die, try to fix it and get them back. Perform periodic maintenance planning similar to the established plants such as American beach grass, Rosa rugosa, eastern red cedar, pitch pine, or equivalent. Coastal plants, material used to fill and reconstruct the dune shall be as close as possible to grain size of sediments on the coastal beach with little or no fine grain component. Less than 10% silt or clay. Fill must meet the Marshfield Wetlands Protection Regulations Performance Standards, Chapter 505-306.4, use of compatible fill. Then we said, ensure the natural heritage special conditions are followed, time of year constraint, authorization, duration, notice. Ongoing periodic maintenance, best management practice are followed. Ensure that the time of year constraint, authorization, duration, notice of intent, or notice that the natural heritage wants is followed as part of the certificate of compliance ongoing conditions. Follow the plan of record. Periodic maintenance of the revetment wall for revetment wall maintaining rough and finish. Boundaries of the revetment wall are not to exceed the limits of the final approved plans and agent information item 8. This condition remains in perpetuity. Only use materials that are original from the original revetment wall. Do not mine sand from the I'll give you this. Yeah, because at that time, Brian, as you get done with the job, you already poured the material. There should be adequate material built into the wall. It's got to reset, so I think we're okay there. Do not mine sand or stone materials from the beach. This undermines the integrity of the coastal beach. It could affect wildlife. Again, do not disturb native coastal plants that are established. Perform periodic maintenance similar to established plants. Blah, 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 blah. Fill must meet the Marshfield Wetlands Protection Performance Standards, Chapter 505 through 6.4, use of compatible material. Notify the Conservation Administrator or agent in writing 2 weeks before any periodic maintenance of the revetment wall commences. This condition remains in continuity, perpetuity. Request ongoing conditions for periodic maintenance in conformance with the approved orders and conditions when submitting the request for certificate of compliance, WPA Form 8B. So what that does is a full fate, because this didn't have any permits, just like everybody down here. So we're trying to bring it into conformance. It's the first time ever, and that's going to be great. Okay.
Commissions follow all that?
I was reading along.
So the logic is just for the new commissioners, real simple. Build it, follow the rules, and then when they want to come back for periodic maintenance, because the waves are going to hit it and smash the heck out of it. This area doesn't have a huge wave attenuation. They're going to need that. So do you want them to come back for a new permit, or do you want them to use this permit? And the idea is to use this permit and follow everything. This is a blueprint going forward. They get out, they get back, and they get back again. That's kind of what happens.
That would be great, because in several, as you know, we have had to come back 5, 6, 7 years later.
Yeah, and the same thing happens with the dredging projects. Brian's exactly right.
What's the access, Brian?
Gilbert Street, it's easy access right there. It's paved right up to the entrance.
I think I missed that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Beach access.
I mean, it's pretty narrow going down there.
Yeah, it's pretty narrow in that
So using a
approach.
mini excavator or something like that?
I'd probably talk to DPW and see what's going on, and Cindy Castro.
So I missed it. Bert's right. On the D1, second to last bullet, submit an access plan depicting how equipment will traverse the resource areas. You guys have done that before, so what we don't want is wide swinging into the, causing damage. We want it to be tight in and out. I had a project that was a real mess down there, wasn't you guys? So, I had to lean into them,
we're really lucky, because there's actually some pretty good sized boulders that are,
Yeah, yeah.
toe slope.
It actually looks in pretty decent shape.
It is. I think he just saw what happened to one of his neighbors to the south that we did a few years ago, and he's like, I want to be ahead of it, not behind it, you know.
The only other comment I'd make as far as vegetative growth in between the stones, I see that alongside the house, perpendicular to the ocean, but on the ocean side, I really didn't see any.
He's at the
There's
top-
some
he's at the top
above.
of the wall.
Yeah, it's on top and it's growing partially inside, very minimal, but there's more stuff on the front that's running parallel with the beach wave line, okay? I agree with that. But there are some plants along. I'm not saying go and get a qualified wetland scientist, create a plan and follow the plan. I'm saying use logic, use it as a tool that's no different than the stones, and put it back, put it in a burlap and make it work again.
The Rosemary does a wonderful job.
Yeah, it colonizes all over the place. And it
Take a
creates
few
roots.
pictures and,
Absolutely.
I have pictures for you if you need them,
Yep.
detailed pictures.
that's all I have. I'd like to open it up to other commissioners. And the time of year is.
Yeah, the time of year is built in. It's April 1 through August 31 as per the natural heritage. So we'll adopt that and make that part of the special conditions, which we've done on other properties.
Okay, and I'd like to open up to comments from the public. I hear none. In case I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing and issue special conditions as previously listed by Bill. Is there anything else you need to cover, Bill?
No, that's good. I gave you the wrong motion. Thanks for running with that, Bert.
Second.
Ken Dodge, stepping up, awesome.
All in favor?
Aye.
Call?
Roll call.
So you start with Joe,
Ken Dodge.
Joe Reed, yes, I'm sorry, Brett.
Ken,
Ken Dodge, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes?
Greg,
Craig Hannafin, yes.
Dave,
Dave Good, yes?
and Bert O'Donnell, yes. It's
So,
unanimous.
okay, we'll crank this out as quick as possible. All right?
Thank you all very much.
All right.
Thank you.
So, I think we got a last minute email about this one. I'll put it in.
All right, next up, we have 17 Oregon Road.
Yeah, that one came in and snuck in, and there it
It's a
is.
continued
10:54.
hearing, and
Yeah.
I'm the hearing officer.
Mhm.
As far as I know, we have no new information.
Right, and they requested a email, they had an email clerk, so sorry, at 10:54 today. and this-
Okay, so
So,
we're-
yeah.
All right, so I make a motion that we will continue this to
November 2nd.
November 2nd. May I have a second?
Second, that's right.
Joe Ring, all right.
Okay. Ken?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yes.
I'm mixing
Ken Dodge,
up
yes,
the
sorry. The water's going back and forth.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to keep everybody
On
awake.
your
Try to keep
Yeah.
you awake.
No napping.
You are,
I said Ken Dodge, yes.
John
okay.
O'Donnell, yes?
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Dave Good, yes.
Craig Hannafin, yes, and Joe Ring?
Joe Reed, yes.
Okay. Next up is, we've already continued this,
Yeah,
correct?
right, correct.
So we're done with that.
Never mind it.
Then we are on South Point Lane, which is a new hearing. In compliance with the regulations of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Code of the Town of Marshfield, Chapter 294, Wetlands Protection, a public hearing will be held by the Marshfield Conservation Commission on Wednesday, October 19th, to consider the notice of intent filed by Catherine Gerstle, and the hearing officer is Bert.
Thank you. Bill,
Yep.
firm taxes, abutters, and DEP.
Correct. They, I think we already, this has been before us before, but it's continued hearing. I'll reconfirm that. Yes, you're all set on that.
You presenting, Mr. Taylor?
Yes, sir. The applicant's proposing to construct an in-ground pool with an associated pool patio.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Surround. She's also proposing a 12 by 16 pool house. And a secondary fence around the pool area. There's already a fence around the yard. Family has dogs and kids a separate fence, so the dog can stay outside of the fence pool. There's also going to be some grading required to level out the pool area, and there are 3 oak trees that are on this slope that's at the southwesterly end of the pond, the pool, the proposed pool, that are proposed to be removed. One of them was lost, it's only half a tree, another one lost a leader, and they're on a 3-to-1 slope, so the grading would not be safe, as well as shading the pool. The portion of the project is located in the buffer zone of the wetland resource area. Monroe flagged the wetlands for us. And all the proposed work will take place between the 50 and 100 foot frontage. You can see this in the backyard, as I said, it's a fence enclosed backyard now. It's all lawn area, there's no extensive disturbance otherwise, other than that the proposed slope, which is the southwest corner of the proposed work. This existing play yard, displacing and replacing the pool.
Sorry, Brian, it's just getting this where you need it here. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, Brian.
No problem.
Having all kinds of fun technical craziness. It's on me.
That's where they have the term glitch, everybody knows it.
Yes. Here's your project here. You can see, you're gonna have some grade changes to the rear there and everything, and the wetlands are way down here. I can't go to the front, obviously, because the septic's up there, and this is more of an ideal location.
Septic's up front.
All right, so you commenting, Bill?
Yeah, I think Mike can take
I
this
can
one.
comment on this one.
Okay.
So as was mentioned, part of the blueprint of or footprint of the proposed pool area is like it's almost like an astroturfed type play area, like you said. So it's like heavily pre-disturbed area. The project looks pretty straightforward. We would suggest the following special conditions in addition to the standard special conditions, which is a D2 insert to ensure erosion controls in place and do not use hay during the time of the construction. And then post-construction, insert under D3 special conditions, maintain a 6-inch gap between the bottom of the fence and the ground surface.
Okay, and you're satisfied with the wetland delineation?
Yeah.
I really have nothing further on this. I'd like to open it up to the commissioners. Any questions, comments?
Nope.
Special conditions, Mike?
So the standard special conditions would apply, and then the insert under D2 to ensure erosion controls in place and do not use hay. And then the insert under D3, maintain a 6-inch gap between the bottom of the fence and the ground surface.
Now, I'm not sure. I think I recall something about pools, the fencing. They don't allow that. I'm not sure.
You're saying under the pool at the
Yeah.
fence?
The
They'd like
6
to
inch.
have it just so it's safe, so you're not getting in there and drowning and those kinds of, they have a certain scope, but I mean, we haven't been getting into that kind of detail, Bert. We've given them 6 inches,
Importance to Mr. Taylor, you mentioned this is a secondary fence. There's a
Correct.
fence
There's
around the
already a,
perimeter of the backyard.
There's a board fence around most of the
Looks like it's
backyard.
been there for decades. Yeah.
So this would be, chain link fence that I think is required by code. I'm not, I was going to say, I'll at the end of what code is on that, if it has to run to the ground.
Yeah, I would
If you
say
have retention bar.
safety takes precedence,
Yeah.
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 so you don't have to come back.
So,
And the dog is pretty active. He visited me, I visited him yesterday. He'll be right under there with the
yeah,
kids.
I visited the front door and he was very active.
Yeah. He's doing his job.
Yeah.
He's a good boy.
Would you like me to, should we cut out the D3 insert, Bert?
Yeah, I think so.
that's a first.
Well, actually not at first, because I recall it from several years ago.
It's not normal then. Okay. Do we need to take it out going
Yeah, I
forward
would
with
expect that
with pools, because, yeah.
it has to, go to the ground for a pool fence.
Okay.
So I heard nothing from commissioners. I'd like to open it up to the public. Any comments? I hear none. I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing and issue the conditions as listed. Do I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Roll call. Joe?
Bill Wheeler, yes.
Ken?
Ken Dodge, yes.
Don O'Donnell, yes?
Craig Hannafin, yes?
Dave Good, yes.
And Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Thank you all very
Second on
much,
that?
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, next up is 3 Minot Street. This is a continued hearing. And it's Vice Chair O'Donnell once again.
Okay, and this one's continued.
No, it's a, yeah, you're right, it's a continued hearing. I think it got backwards earlier.
Yep. Are you presenting, sir?
Yeah. Yep.
You have the floor.
Okay, my name is Steve Leonard, SAL Custom Building, 19 Vincent Drive. There's my client, Cheryl McHugh. She lives at the property. So basically, I think we've continued this from last meeting and given Bill, things that he requested. As far as the stuff from a wetlands scientist, the land surveyor, and added things to the plans that he asked us to, and gave me a construction sequence of how we're building the deck and how the machine will get in there to drive the helical tiles. I guess if you guys have any questions, I can answer those.
So, got the amended drawings,
Right here, yep.
so comments? Mike,
Yeah,
Bill?
I got this one. So I did meet with Mr. Leonard. He's done a fabulous job coming back to us. Here's your sheet number 1. He's provided a cross-section so that you get a taste of what's gonna happen underneath the walkway. The only comment I would have is a geotextile fabric installed below pavers. It looks like it's on the top. I think it's really needed down at the bottom, you know what I mean? So this might make it a little difficult towards the top portion. I know you got bricks up here, Steve, but I think maybe having it down below. I've seen that done, and they use different types of geotextiles. Sometimes they use a meshed tight unit that holds fines in, and sometimes they just use like a grid. I've seen it done different ways.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're planning.
those are actually a concrete permeable patio block. John spec'd those out, John Keefe.
Geotextile fabric installed below pavers, what I was trying to reference. I got the materials. I think everything's good except that on the top. I think you've got it wrapped down here also, and it's also on the top, so it's kind of enclosing the whole thing. Do you really need this one, is what I'm saying up here?
Yeah, no.
No.
That's all I'm saying, Commissioners. I think it's a great project, and what they've got here is great. I think just having the geotextile so up close to the surface, water's not gonna permeate through, and it's gonna make it more difficult. I think down below, they gotta have it, because they need some continuity, and you want this.
I think that heavier black line is not the geotextile.
There's 2 geotextiles in this. There's one here, and there's another one down here. So I'm saying the top one.
Okay.
So I'm suggesting the top one is overkill. It'll kind of backfire. You'll get ponding. It'll be a bummer for them, and it also won't work as well. So the top one should come out, is what I'm suggesting.
I can't remember the plan, obviously, I can't see.
No,
from there,
it's there's 2
But I think there's
yeah,
only one layer.
it's kind of wrapped around the whole thing, I think.
Yeah.
So you just want to get that revised?
Just take it out and just say, I don't think they need to revise it. We could condition it so it doesn't wrap, it only is on the sides and the bottom. We could put that in. I could put that into a DO condition and make it easy for them.
Okay, and the planting plan is satisfactory?
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Talked this through quite a bit previous time. I think I'm all set.
Yeah.
Anything else, Bill?
No, maybe I should just go through this. I think they have it. I'll just wrap through it as fast as possible. remove top geotextile. Okay, maintain lower geotextile. Okay. Thanks, give me for time. So you've got Brooke Monroe listed on the plan. I want to give you the flexibility in case something happens to her. So this is what I prefer to offer you. The qualified wetland scientist of record is Brooke Monroe as per the approved site plan in reference section A, general information, item 8, or equivalent. So if she's out of it, now you got somebody else you can work with. That'll take care of you there. Otherwise, you're locked in. And if she can't do it, that's a problem for you. You insert during the construction the 6 conservation markers. You need to wait until the construction's underway because some of them go on the decking. They'll stay in perpetuity. And then once this is done, there'll be no construction downgrading of the 6 conservation markers. All right.
Are those shown?
Yeah, they're on here. They're right here, Bert. Right here. Oh, all right. Right here, Bert. Here's number 1 on the plan. And then you got 1 here and 1 here, and you got another one here, another one here, and another one here. Steve and I worked this out.
Okay, you worked it out.
We worked it out.
It's pretty much outlining the whole deck.
Right, so you won't have any down gradient, new structures and so on. They're getting it all here.
Although I will say, and I point out that the one on the end of the beam here, Bill?
Right, this one right here, or which one?
Yeah, that one right there.
Okay, right.
Okay, that one there, I noticed after that was put on the plan, we gotta make sure that one's not underneath the deck.
Sure.
Because we have that platform extension.
Yeah, right.
So we'll move it to the outside corner.
Just so it's visible. Let's say you sell the house, you know what I mean? Then
You wanna
we want
make
the
sure
other
it's
people to know
visible.
too. Because you've been through this, they might not. I mean, the house could be more valuable, you know, it might happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you implement the planning plan following the planning plan. Brooke has got 1-year plantings, there's 2 years of monitoring, so I threw that in so you have that. So you'll go, you plant in spring, implement your implementation plan June 1, first annual in December 1, second annual the following year. If you do it fall, then December 1 will be your implementation plan. Wait 1 December for the first monitoring report, then the second monitoring report. So 2 monitoring reports. So she missed 1, I'll put that in for you. All right, I think optional chemical invasive treatment, because you pointed out to me, Chief Reardon, that we had bittersweet out there, and you might want to treat it, okay? So if you go that route, you need to be under the direct supervision of a licensed herbicide applicator and qualified wetland scientist. So you guys can't spray, somebody else has to do the spray, it's a dune. All right, provide 2-week advance notice on the herbicide applicator's current license to the conservation administrator or agent, because you may need that. All right, periodic maintenance of the pavers, because they might get hammered by the waves, so you don't want to come back and deal with us another round. So we put that in, and this remains in perpetuity. Optional periodic native plantings, in case the plants die and you want to put the plants back, use these, they're the most robust, and they're low maintenance, and you'll really end up enjoying it. It remains in perpetuity. Optional periodic chemical invasive treatment is permanent, same thing. We need to have the licensed herbicide applicators license, qualified wetland scientists involved, and then provide 2-week notice to the conservation administrator or agent. Okay, and the last item, deck is to remain an open deck. There shall be no segmentation, converting the closed deck to a closed porch or habitable space, which would not be consistent with 310 CMR 10.28, nor Chapter 505 202.3 Coastal Dune Performance Standards. This condition remains in perpetuity. We just saw a property on a boarded vegetated wetland in floodplain that exactly happened, and it's a habit that happens. I'm not saying the McHughes, but let's just say somebody else comes along, they might do it. So it's got to be in there to protect the segmentation.
Bill, we talked about that, Cheryl and I, and as far as that goes, you know, those helical piles are gonna be designed to carry a deck, not an addition. So that wouldn't even fly with the building inspector. You'd have to have a much higher load capacity, live load. As far as that goes, you know, somebody else that wants, she's not going to put an addition on, we know that. It's probably gonna be left for her daughter. She probably not gonna do an addition ever anyways. But if they were to try to do an addition, they'd have to come before you guys. So really don't understand why we have to put a condition on it that nothing's ever built there at this point. Because whatever happens in, 30 years from now, it is up to the board then, and it's up to, she can at least try if she wanted to.
Segmentation's not allowed, so you catch it when you can. That's what I say.
I would agree, another permit would be required for anything else anyway.
I can't
Seems
even hear you
logical.
guys.
Whatever.
I apologize, I lost track. Did I already make the motion?
No, I was going through the heavy conditions and then this
Just
stop
doing the
with this one.
conditions, yeah.
I mean, it's all pretty
I'd like to
straightforward.
Open it up to comments from the other commissioners.
I guess I'll speak on it. I do believe that putting some type of restriction against something that may or may not happen 30 years from now is not only a complication for the resident. That could be something that could also hinder people with other projects in the future. Again, they still have to come to the board. They still have to go through the building department. Still have to go through zoning. I just don't see why that has to be in there currently.
Yeah, I think it's kind of superfluous.
I agree.
Any comments from the public? Hearing none, make a motion to close the hearing and issue special conditions.
And you want to strike that one, right?
Strike that one. And I think you listed everything else.
Yeah, I think
correct?
it's ready to go.
I got a second?
Second.
David?
Second is Dave. Roll call, Dave,
Dave Good, yes?
Craig,
Craig Hannafin, yes.
John,
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken,
Ken Dodge, yes.
Joe,
Bill Wing, yes.
and Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Okay,
Unanimous
6-0.
vote?
Great, good job, Steve. Well done.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, this is mine.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, we have already dispatched Dog Lane.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are at 66 Edmund Road. This is a continuation, and Commissioner Ring is the hearing officer.
Thank you. This is a continuing hearing. We would send it back to James Garfield from Morris Engineering to address a couple of points. It looks like the suppressed road. You want to give us a little summary of how you've done that?
Sure. So again, James Garfield, Morse Engineering, here for the Edmund Road project, continued from September 21st. At the last hearing, we presented the proposed pier, float, and gangway, and Commission asked for a little bit further detail, mainly being the mitigation and restoration for the existing floats on site. Don't know if that's the most up-to-date plan.
Hold on a second. It's got the wrong plan again. Here, 1 second here. All right, let me see if I can get that. Bear with me. All right, there we go. Let's see. Access, plan review. Pause. There we go. Let's see if we can get it.
There we go.
Yes, there we go. Sorry about that.
All right. So as you can see, we've added the existing float locations to the plan, and they do encroach into the abutter's property to the north. I've shown those areas to be restored in green hatch, as well as an area to be mitigated along the existing walking path, also shown in green. And we sent this, we had a restoration and mitigation plan put together by EPR, and we sent that to the Tanglewood Club, the abutter to the north. They've authorized us to restore the areas of encroachment and are in support of the project. We also prepared a construction access figure, sent that over to the commission, detailing no heavy machinery to be utilized on the site. We showed the construction vehicle parking and material staging area to be located at 66 Edmund Road, further up the street. that no access is proposed over the 87 Edmund Road property, that that would be accessed entirely via the Edmund Road right-of-way, which would be staked out prior to construction. And we sent that plan to the direct abutters of the owners of 87 Edmund Road as well. So I believe that covers everything we talked about. So I'll pass it back to the commission for any questions.
Are there any commissioner questions for James? Hearing none, but I can't see all of your faces. I'm going to move on to Bill. So I believe Bill is doing this one.
Yeah, I got this one. We did a site walk with the Harbor Master, North River Commission. Mike Seeley was there. James was in the field. Greg Morris in a boat with the homeowner and another Morris Engineering person. A couple things. We've got comments back from Harbor Master. We've got comments back from Mass DMF. Nothing except Chapter 91 from Mass DEP. So I'm going to read those off a little bit. Harbor Master is good with the project for the most part. He said the mooring nearest the dock could be adjusted, which is typically at the applicant's expense. And he also mentioned that the shellfish mitigation should be adjusted down to about 3,550 based upon review by the Harbor Master, and I was with him present. Mass DMF recommends 1 to 1.5 pier decking above salt marsh. So you calculate that based on the width of the pier. Sorry about that, I put stock, but pier is the one, and it's a 4-footer, so we're looking at 6 feet minimal across the board here. That also coincides with our Chapter 505 regulations, which is a minimum of 5 and a preference for 1 to 1.25 to 1, that is. There needs to be 30 inches of water at the bottom of the lowest part of the float. They called that out, and got these backwards. So we seem to have the 30 inches. Over here, calling this out, he's got the 30 inches, 2.5 feet. They're offering 2.8 feet down in here. I know that because I studied it pretty closely. I can zoom in, it'll get blurry though, unfortunately. So it's 2.8 feet, which exceeds the 2.5. Natural Heritage did not find this to be an adverse take nor an adverse effect on the habitat, so that's satisfied. And then ZBA also had provided a special permit on this on May 24, 2022. There were some questions based upon the tracker spreadsheet that Joe Ring put together on August 1, 2022, which was in your packets, which was on the Google Drive. And there were 3 items in question. One of the 3 E1s was off. I put 4:1 ratio, but it was actually length into the river. So 50% of the width was roughly 30 feet, allowing them to go out 15 feet based upon one of the criteria for E1. They're going out 162 feet. That would need a variance. E5 is off by about a half a foot, and E8 conflicts with property lines, which may have been addressed by the ZBA separately. So it looks like going out into the river would have been the priority one there that might need a variance. They're going very far out if the commission is going to allow the exceedance of that performance standard. Let's see what else I have. The access plan is a separate document. I had suggested to James that he move the north arrow to here if we're watching the screen. I'll move the north arrow to here if we're watching the screen, and then move this over, creating some white space here where an access plan can be detailed, because apparently there were conflicts with the previous owner, construction trucks being put down there, and then that perpetuated further. So that applicant spoke to me and said, please help me. And James has put together a separate access plan, and I had suggested this to him. We thought about it a little bit. He's probably thought about it a little bit more. We'd have a 4x4 area up in here where we could actually achieve that goal, and then it would be on one plan, access plan, and you'd have no questions. If it's on a separate thing, it's going to get lost, and it might create conflicts down the road. because they're gonna have to do periodic maintenance, and when they do that, the vehicles need to be in a spot. Storage of the materials, parking, those should be called out as, you know, no overnight parking, for example, common courtesy, so we don't have conflicts.
So, how do we resolve the ZBA potential approval of this configuration? Because the dock was pretty close to the lot line.
Yeah, they approved it. I mean, I'm looking at the letter. They have two sets of conditions here. I don't really interpret this. They have a variance decision, and I'm not trying to be ZBA. I'm not a pro on this. And they have a special
Yeah,
permit
neither am I.
decision. You know, they've accepted the plan. Well, they've accepted a April 5, 2022 plan. James, were you present at that meeting?
I was not, Greg Morris was.
Yeah, all right, so what we're trying to do is kind of get a handle on what ZBA said about the setbacks. And for E5, which is, I think, the one, or E8 that is, conflicts with the property line, because it's so narrow.
Well, aren't the changes from the previous drawing, the restoration areas? The rest of the plan stayed the same, didn't it?
These are coming from Commissioner Joe Ring, and I'm just echoing them. E8 was called out on the spreadsheet that everybody had the
We're
tracker.
talking about the ZBA, right?
I'm trying to
What
get
they
resolved
approved.
on E8. Sorry. This spreadsheet right here, Bert, this tracker
Yeah.
that Joe Ring put together, E8 was an issue, and it seems to be a ZBA function almost, and I'm wondering about that regulation in general. So I'm trying to wrestle through it, you know?
Because it references an April plan, but we only have, I think the oldest we have is the May plan. I know what the difference is.
Yeah.
So the oldest is an April 5th date on the plan.
Pardon me?
The plan was originally dated April 5th, that one that you see there. And
Yeah.
then 3 revisions have been made since then.
Correct. So it's gotten better, obviously, but they approved May 24th. I don't really know the revision dates that changed, James.
Yeah, so you don't have a revision date of that on the plan, but
Well, all right, so they say here the petitioner is requesting a variance to construct the pier gangway and float. A variance is required because the petitioner will need to cross the rear yard setback as an accessory structure will be within 10 feet of the property line. The board believes that strict adherence to the dimensional setbacks would cause the petitioner a substantial detriment and hardship. This is a residential use, it's common character of a coastal community. One of the desirable factors is accessibility to the coastline. However, to get to the water, one has to build through the setback. The board has granted this variance in the past to allow piers, docks, ramps, and floats in appropriate locations. You know, that's in conflict with, you know, obviously what we got. We got docks greater than 25 feet from the property line, except when using E4 and 2 adjoining lots. So I don't know what to do with that one. Seems like
That's my problem.
ZBA seems to be okay with it. Maybe that's one to consider eliminating or modifying.
One provision,
E8, you know, just a thought, you know, because obviously ZBA does the boundaries, you know, so that could be food for thought.
right, but it's not within the current, it's in the current regs.
Yeah,
How do we get around that if we choose to?
you could say a variance and, you know, you're relying on the ZBA to make that determination.
Okay, any other questions or comments, Bill?
I think he needs a variance for the 162.3 out into the water. It's questionable about the half-foot difference for E5. E8, that's the commission's call.
So we've got 3 issues that we would have to do variances for?
Yeah, but I think only one is critical, and that's the one out in the water.
Right.
E1.
Yeah, because the location of the dock would rely on ZBA. But the one going out into the water is something that's our rules.
Yeah, I mean, the E5 is 62.5. If you round it, it's 63. So, just depends on how strict you want to be on that.
What's the precision of the measurement?
I don't know that. It's foot,
Yeah.
you know?
At that distance, there's probably some substantive error.
That one could get washed, you know, for rounding. And
Right.
I don't know what to do with the E8. I mean, there's some meaningful value to E8, right? That's beyond the ZBA's control of the boundary setbacks, which is what you typically get. Then that's going to be a reg you want to keep. However, you're always seeking all obtainable permits as per 310 CMR 1005. So in this case, you've got feedback from, in the form of a permit from ZBA. And so you're co-regulating in that way. So I don't know how to handle that one. I know that it's seen as a red flag for conservation, but the ZBA provided a variance decision of their own, which are different variances, okay? Different variances, but comments or permits from other departments you might take into consideration as clear and convincing
Right.
information.
Yeah.
I finally found the sheet. Which one are you referring to?
Yeah, these three red ones, E8, E5 is E8 is the one, then when it says one, that's a straight, like, means that it's a red flag. It didn't meet the criteria, and ZBA said the same thing, but they gave a variance to it, and we had their permit.
I think we had the discussion at the original hearing that this was an existing dock.
Yeah, but
We
it
did,
had
there
0
was an
permits.
existing and permitted dock.
It's not a valid dock, basically. Yeah, it's a structure, but, you know, the commission could have enforced and had it taken out. That could have been one option and never allowed a dock, which I don't think it'd ever do. It had no permits from anybody, no DEP, no North River, and no Concom. So, you know, it came in as an after the fact, and, I don't think you should weigh in on that. I think you just look at the plan and the proposed after the fact dock that you're getting here.
Are there other commissioner comments? What do we feel about the depth into the distance into the waterway?
I guess one of my questions is, I know this has already come in front of the board before, but why has this information changed that now there's a new variance needed? Because I'm just kind of confused that this, we already had a meeting and now we're coming to a second meeting. You know, where is the, you know, now we have information that the ZBA now is approved with a variance, so I'm just kind of confused at where this information kind of
So on the
comes.
21st, you had a meeting and there was a hearing, and everybody was here but Craig. She did a Mullen, and David, they did a Mullen. So I don't remember that one being called out too much in detail back then. The commission did have the spreadsheet, because it was shared at some point in time with the commission. It's not the commission's job to provide all the information. It's not even our job to provide all the provision. We filter and bring you everything we can and coalesce it. If it comes in small snippets for various reasons, because something's new or clerical or whatever, any reason, it's still satisfactory. It's in front of you now. So when any performance standard has a conflict, you're seeing 3 here on the spreadsheet, which you would add in your packets, right?
Yep.
Then you have to look at that, and those need variances under the bylaw, not under the state, and they're separate jurisdictions. We don't want to get messed up in that. These are Chapter 505 regulations that got modified on April 14th, 2022. And some of these we're banging into walls, all right? So that's what's going on. I'm trying to figure out a system I've not seen an issue with the E8 before, but this is a very tight lot, as you can see. There's not a whole lot of, you can see it, it's right on the property line, right up here, right here. So Tanglewood's over in here, and they're allowing them to get in to this property and do these restorations. So there's cooperation, we know that, and it's an open field, which is good. They just are configured in a very unique way. They're also separate from the main property, which is, you know, the ZBA's allowing them to have that dock, even though they're supposed to have a residential property on the property where you get the accessory unit, which is a dock. So I believe that's another variance that they gave, so they give it for a variety of variances. And then you have us duplicating in a way on E8, this close proximity, so I'm seeing that. And, you know, I don't wanna try to undermine the regulations, I'm just saying, you got this is the department that manages the property boundaries, but this particular regulation E8 also calls that out. Because we wanna try to have docks that are not all over the place. Docks that have structure that'll be meaningful and with the character of the community. Otherwise, you're gonna get them everywhere and poorly built, and they're gonna be falling apart. And have conflicts with neighbors, et cetera.
So, Bill, we don't normally set precedents, and we don't set precedents, we don't set
Everything's
rules.
unique, yeah, everything's unique.
But in this particular case, can we take the CBA variance and the support by Tanglewood and use that to say that we're gonna allow a variance
So,
because of those
yeah.
reasons?
I see your thinking. Yeah, I think you can take all the comments and coalesce them for the clear and convincing information that you need to make a determination. They're not asking you for variance here. Typically, we get a letter. However, we could put in DO that a variance is being approved on any one of these items and then solve it. And that's been done by others, under the bylaw only. And so, if you wanted to give a variance on this one because you're satisfied with what the ZBA was doing, and the fact that the neighbors are letting you, you know, work for restoration purposes, as long as they're not in they're not in their property, you're good. You can never allow them to be on their other property though.
I would be opposed
If
to
we did
this.
that, we would meet those criteria.
Yeah.
I would be opposed to this if this was a complete new proposal, but the fact that this is an existing dock, whether it was permitted or not, you know, we never came forward and asked them to remove it. I believe they've been paying taxes on it. You know, so as far as the argument about whether it fits in the neighborhood or anything else, it's been there for many years.
And it's
certainly been there a long time.
It's derelict now. I mean,
So-
this is a betterment.
So these changes are to bring it into compliance, as much as possible.
Right, there's two schools. of thought. At some places, they'd have you tear this down, and then they might not get it again, okay? That's maybe another town, I'm not saying here. As far as it goes, with regards to that, you know, you can't consider that, it's not permitted, yeah, it's there, okay? Would you normally allow it? I think you have to think about it as if it's new, but I think you also have to think about it that it's,
How is it different from all these houses?
it's a lot like the one on 3
and
Cove
buildings
Street that we
are
did.
allowed to be
We,
built?
we did the same thing, Bird on Cove Street with Curtis. And I'm just trying to make sure that the commission treats it with the fact that it's, consider it new, you know, and the ZBA seems to be allowing it because they have given a special permit on it. It's 2 separate parcels, you don't have an accessory structure. That's not the function of the E1. The E1 has to do with more than one dock on the same parcel, 4-to-1 ratio, and the distance. The one we're struggling with right now is the E8, which is sort of a quasi-ZBA function, but to make sure that it's not too close. And the idea was, you know, you don't want so many docks that are gonna be conflicting, and these things can fall apart and create their own damage too. So it's not just aesthetics, but it's potential, you know, conflicts of other types. So I try to figure out how you can get through the E8. I would probably suggest that the E1 needs a variance, and it can be solved in the DO special conditions. And the E5 is only off by 0.5, and if you round it up, it meets the criteria.
Okay, any ideas on how to do the E8? No, huh?
No.
Well, the only option that we have at that point then is for the applicant to either propose some or we deny. Because it's also not our job to find the solutions. Well, sometimes we do work pretty hard to make that. It shouldn't be our responsibility to find the solutions. The applicant is responsible for presenting clear and convincing evidence that we should approve it, and then we decide whether or not they made the case. Unless maybe I missed something.
Well, there's one other solution source here. We got, Joe, you also got a consultant who's got some ZBA experience and stuff. Let's help us with these regs. I don't think we targeted this one. You could tap that also and get the opinion, because you need total information,
Right, so we could offer that. It's,
Well, Bill Finn is who I'm saying should maybe give his ideas, because he's got a lot of ZBA experience. He hasn't necessarily been working on this particular reg exclusively, but I'm sure he's got some valuable input.
I presume that Bill may be in the room?
Bill is in the room.
I am here, Joe, yeah.
I can almost hear you, but I'd love to hear you for real.
You need to come up to a mic, and we got to get you covered on that. Can you pull up the Commissioner Dodge's? Just pull a seat up there.
Old man walking
Yeah.
Joe, can you hear me?
I can now, Bill, thank you.
Okay. My problem with this is mixing the ZBA's variances procedures with the Conservation Commission's procedures. The ZBA has certain criteria. They have 5 criteria they have to meet and make an affirmative decision on to grant a variance. The Commission has no such criteria by which they will grant a variance. So it's, number one, they're 2 separate and distinct issues. One is a zoning bylaw and one is Conservation Commission regulations, and they're not the same at all. So it's hard to say that you can justify a decision to grant a variance by the Commission based on the fact that the zoning Board of Appeals granted a variance. It's hard to justify that. Otherwise, I'm not particularly familiar with the project, and I don't have a set of plans to look at. But that's my reaction to what I'm hearing. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but.
No, it's helpful only for at least postponing this. Yeah, so I'm back to my options that I can see are either deny because we didn't get clear and convincing information, or to have the applicant ask for continuation. Does anybody else see an alternative that I don't?
Brian Taylor had a comment that he made to me, but I don't know if it's.
Well, what I had mentioned.
Name for the record.
Brian Taylor, Stenbeck and Taylor, Joe. What I had mentioned to Bill is that my father did that subdivision, I think, in '58, the year I was born. And I think the intent was to have people have group access and some individual lots have access to the river. So it might be that James might be able to do a little digging. James, I'd be happy to open our records for you to see how this particular lot configuration, that's a very irregular strip of land. So to me, that just barks out that it was an intended purpose. And that, we have the 48 aerial photographs of the town. I don't think that structure was there then, but it might be interesting to see when that existing dock is there. And it wasn't until the Hatch Act came in that we even did any permits. And the Hatch Act came in when I was 18, 20 years old, is when the Hatch Act came in. So, you know, we are so used to multi-layers of permitting. A notice of intent used to cost $25 to file the fee. And there were, you know, so that's just in our practice lifetime. So it might be, it behoove the commission to give the applicant an opportunity to see if he can backbone what was here, when it was here, and that it was the intended purpose. Just a thought, because it is, you're dealing with an old subdivision and an old dock and a new replacement dock.
When you look at that dock, you know that it is not young.
Yeah, it's, old as us, if not older.
So, can I ask a question, Joe, of these guys? So, this is weird. When we saw this lot, I thought it was really strange. I mean, you've got the Tanglewood, which is gigantic, and you would have thought that somebody would have thought it through and either made it fan out so you had more space at the end, or just whatever you needed to do. How many of these things are out there? Because I haven't done an aerial check. I mean, because
I'd have to check it, but
I
that whole
guess-
top,
Well, looking at the assessor's database,
Yeah.
that shows, there aren't many like this.
right,
so this is rare and unusual. See?
right. It is kind of unique because from the very start, Rita Sweeney was the previous property owner that my father subdivided the property for. And they had houses there that they camps really, that they wanted to maintain access to the river on. That much I recall going through the files. And then when you look at the stretch of the river, this is a common dock. It was for the whole association. So, you know, it is unique. It's not like you have,
Well, this isn't the Riverside Circle one.
no, it's further up. I believe there was common interest in that dock at one time. I'd have to verify that, but I believe there was some common interest in that.
There isn't now, I don't believe.
No, not now, okay.
So, but I mean, the thing is, it's rare and unusual in that this parcel structure with these kind of tight dynamics, boundaries, et cetera, are not common out there. They also separated from the main upland. That's a little more common, but it's this tight configuration which makes it rare and unusual. Bert's got some experience with this kind of stuff, so he's kind of giving you some evidentiary information. So when you have rare and unusual, you can provide a variance, okay? And and maybe that's what you want to start thinking about, framing around that. Since you've got some commentary from a gentleman here who's got, both have got decades of experience with this stuff, and they're on the record now. So they obviously speak from their knowledge base.
May I make a suggestion, Joe?
I'd love it.
I think we need to dig a little deeper here to go back into the historical record. And if the applicant would be so good as to request a continuation, that would give us time to explore just how rare and unusual this is.
Right.
And if that can be used as a basis for us to move forward with a potential variance.
You're looking to make a memo, James, okay? And maybe you and Greg can hook up with Brian and find out something substantive that the commission could say, yeah, there's only 3 of these in the town, or something.
Yep.
Because you've then you made the case that it's rare and unusual. The commission then can pivot off of that, and they can say, well, we'll allow variance. They can let go of the ZBA, which I was also saying earlier, is ZBA variance is different than Concom variance. Bill said it better than me, though.
Yep. That sounds good to me.
And I would in your memo, I would ask for an E1 variance, and I would ask that maybe Commissioner Ring, you want to take a poll and see if the commission would allow a variance on that one. When we were out there, I think we're all pretty happy with the design. I would have been okay with the 10 by 20 float, but NRC wanted a smaller one, so we ended up with that.
So, how about a poll? We could do a poll or we could do a negative poll. I think the poll would probably be easier. Would we entertain a variance request for an E1 variance?
And what's going on is you have 15 feet versus 162. That's monstrous, okay, difference. I'm not sure about these regs sometimes. So that's the variance, all right? So you're gonna be giving up 145 feet or whatever.
Is there a second for?
You don't have to do that. You just
I
add,
don't need one, I just
you
have to
just
ask.
start going down the
So-
line. Yep.
Didn't it?
David,
I would agree to the variance.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
John,
I would agree, but question, did the harbor master already?
Yeah.
Okay, that.
Yeah. I read it earlier. Yeah. It's in your
So,
notes.
yeah, with the harbor master's support in this conversation, I would support it.
Okay. Okay. So okay.
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Joe Ring is a yes.
Bert.
And Melanie was somebody.
Bert,
Thank
yeah.
you, Bert.
Yeah, I would agree, and just to clarify, the applicant is gonna do the work on this and come back with a little bit of an explanation of the history.
For E8 and also requesting the E1
Yes.
memo.
Clarification, so yes, I agree.
So we were doing part for the E1, but we brought in the E8 as well.
And E5 is a rounding error.
Yeah, 6 inches.
Yeah, 6 inches we
Yeah,
can,
it's not enough for me.
yeah.
Okay, so for the record, E5 is a rounding error. The applicant will put together a analysis in a memo form and tell us how many of these kind of properties are there, so the commission has clear and convincing information that this is rare and unusual. And then you will directly ask for a variance for the E1, and then we'll get you through, James. The project's really great. You did a great job. And also, what about this access plan in the corner? Can we get that up there? I think it'd be good for the long-term value of this.
I agree.
So you got that, James? That thing we talked about?
Yep.
James is very good. He'll get everything done.
Okay, I believe we have to take a motion to
Continue.
continue to, what date certain would you like, James?
Can we continue to the next available hearing, please?
That's 11-2.
November 2?
Yep.
So I'd like to make a motion to close this hearing with a continuance to November 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Craig.
Second by Craig. Craig,
Roll call, Craig.
roll call, Craig.
He's the hearing officer.
No, he's calling you. You have to say yes, because he's calling.
You're just
Yes. Sorry. Craig Hannafin,
I
yes.
can't see you guys. I think I heard Bert say yes, but I can't prove it.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Joe O'Donnell.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Dave Good, yes.
David. Joe Ring, yes.
Okay, 6:00. So,
See, that is 6-0.
all right, James, do 12 noon on to the 26th, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for your patience and
Thank
good
you.
job on this.
We'll get there.
All righty.
Okay, next up is 200 Joseph Drybeck Way. This RDA is being withdrawn. I move that we vote to approve the withdrawal of the request for determination of applicability for 22-30. May I have a second?
Second. John O'Donnell, second.
Mr. Good?
Dave Good, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Joe Ring, yes.
Craig Hannafin, yes.
All right.
All right.
All righty.
We are on COCs and extensions. SE 42 1571 Constellation Road. We have 3 enforcement issues with this, so I move that we vote to table this to, what sort of a date do we need, Bill?
Okay, so he's working steadily. Go ahead. You had this one.
Yeah. So the enforcement orders have been clarified. We contacted the previous conservation agent. He was satisfied with the results of the work there. No longer have an issue with those 3 enforcement orders, including Enforcement Order 02-01, 07-01, and 08-01. And the only outstanding issues is that there's an HVAC unit below the specified requirements, and there's also the enclosure below the home there.
Bit of a back cave, and it conflicts with special conditions
Yeah.
under 1500.
So the HVAC unit needs to be elevated, and that enclosure needs to be removed.
We give him a punch list, he's gonna come back with it, he's got what he needs.
Okay, so we're going to table this. Do we want to put a date certain on it, or?
November 2nd, he'd like to be
November
done
2nd,
tonight, but he
okay.
couldn't do it, yeah.
So I move that we table this to the November 2nd meeting to allow the applicant time to resolve the unpermitted activities. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Joe Ring.
Commissioner Good?
Dave Good, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes?
Ken Dodge, yes.
Joe Ring, yes.
Craig Hannafin, yes. Okay, next up is SE 42-1501, 115 Allen Street.
Oh, right, okay. So this is the offending deck that became a farmer's porch, okay? And there was a change in the floodplain on this one. And this one's not ready, is it? This is the one with Attorney Johnson. All right, they take this one. This is the guy called today, right?
Wait, he wants to table that one to November 2nd.
Yeah, he wants to table that one to November 2nd.
Okay.
And you've got a couple of things going on here. You got that screened-in porch, which was a deck. There's a farmer's porch on the front, which is probably okay in an addition. And then they built out the garage without getting any kind of permits. And then there's some tough conditions on this one. The absolutes, there's a reason I'm telling you this. These absolute special conditions have been absolutely brutal. If you go backwards and they haven't got their certificate of compliance and you got a 3-foot 10-inch or a 2-foot 10-inch crawl space, it's created unbelievable havoc for everybody because they didn't build it right, and now the commission can't bend on it. So we looked at more flexible special conditions so that we could tie into current regulations and FEMA regulations and building codes. It just seems like it's a better way to go, and it allows no over-regulation. It's not so constrict and tight that you get absolutes, and it's just, you guys can't make decisions, because it's like if you break it, it's like, some could say you're breaking the law, but it's the commission's determination, which is some of the law. So that's the way it is.
All right, but we're going to table this to, we wanted,
I think November 2nd. He's
November 2nd?
working on it, yeah.
All right, I move that we vote to table this to the November 2nd meeting. May I have a second?
Second, John O'Donnell.
Commissioner Good?
Dave Good, yes.
Second.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes?
Ken Dodge, yes.
Yeah, okay, he's quick.
Craig Hannafin, yes.
Good.
Joe Ring?
Joe Ring, yes.
Okay, he's quick, so he's good.
SE 42-1743, 459 Highland Street.
Yeah.
We are going to table this until the after-the-fact order of conditions is recorded.
Craig, could I just?
Yeah.
Would it be also, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
My wife Gail's been working with the new owner, John Michaels. He was going to record the order today, but his kid was sick.
Okay.
So he's going to do it tomorrow.
Okay, we can get this done. I mean, this can go like out and in. You know how these go. You got one, so you know what I mean? So long story short, we can get this wrapped up the moment that that is handled and comes back to us, then we can put it on. This can close.
Yep.
And then the new one can go and file a new request for certificate of compliance, and it can close. Because the commission's already made its decision.
Right.
It's just a matter of
It's just
procedural, yeah.
Procedure.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I move that we vote to table this until November 2nd.
Second.
Bert?
Dave?
Dave Good, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Joe Ring, yes.
Craig Hannafin, yes.
Okay, very good. This one, Francis, okay, is you were given the package. They came back with a solution. All right, I hope you got it here.
Thank you all. Good night.
See you later.
Thank you. Good
Nice
night.
seeing you, Mr. Taylor. Yeah, I hear you. All right, so we got this picture here of what's going on underneath, okay? I think you're familiar with this property, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And do we have any others, or is this kind of? Yeah. Okay, kind of. All right, so I'm gonna get rid of this for a second here and stop the sharing, and I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna grab you the proposed plan that they've given to us. See if I can find it in my infinite way that I do. Bear with me. You guys are so patient. I am so appreciative of you. Okay, how come I can't find what I need? So
It's a
I need
great
to get
picture
out
of
of
the
here.
Situate Lake
Go
with the
to-
lantern gone.
All right, so we need to go in here. We need to go to COCs. We need to go to South Street. We need to go to the most recent plan. Where are you hiding? Site visits. Francis Fournier, deed restriction, habitable space discussion, elevation cert. How come it's not in here? I haven't been updated. That's what's happened. Okay, so looks like looks like another clerical error on me tonight. Okay, so I don't have it. So long story short, what they've done is they've given you a plan which you provided hard copies. They're looking at a 3-foot perimeter on the outside. I have not heard anybody say that it's an issue or not, but the plan was not stamped and signed. It was only, I think, stamped. So the question is, will the commission accept that? Now, you've seen that hard copies in the bins that we gave to you. Everybody
don't-
saw that? Yeah, it was in the bins, because I had Liz copy it.
I have not, I've seen it on Google Drive, but I haven't seen a hard copy.
Where did you see it, Google Drive? I mean, Google
Thought I
Drive.
saw it, I mean, I've seen it, but I don't have
I
it.
think we, so it's not, it was in, it's a 10,
Does anyone have a hard copy of the plan? I don't believe I do.
I think I had everything that was in my file.
we can't get to the Zero Projects to show it to you. For whatever reasons, it's not in this Google Drive here, which normally it would be. I believe I'll get the right property, Francis 1917. And I did have it copied and sent out to everybody because it was, oh, it's a business item? No, the business items only, so you may not have seen it because it's supposed to be in the Google Drive. So I take that back. You didn't see it.
Okay, I must have seen a narrative about it. I thought I saw it, but I don't have a hard copy.
So what, you might have seen it because it came in at your level, Craig. It's from Baird. And so what happened is they looked at the
Okay.
perimeter. I'm gonna see
Okay.
if I can get a plan out
Yeah,
of
I
this.
saw it in an email then.
I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody else
This is
has
gonna be
seen
the
it.
plan,
Yeah,
It wasn't in today's packet.
no, it was not.
I can't have this happen again.
Thanks.
Craig? I'm not sure I would accept a plan that was only sealed and not signed.
I'm
That's number
totally,
one, I agree with that.
I'm totally in agreement on that. If there is any question.
Anybody could stamp the plan.
Right, if there's any question about the correctness of the stamp and the signature, I
so-
want to hold off.
So let me tell you theoretically, because this did move forward, I don't know why it's not in the Google Drive. Okay, I don't know why. I'm gonna take responsibility for that. I thought we'd gotten it to you. It was actually the plan that we originally talked about, the 3-foot apron all the way around. So they would close in all the piles underneath. You saw the picture that was provided earlier. All of that we cleared out around the piles, the columns, and then it would be a 3-foot perimeter around it. It's a stamped structure, it's a stamped plan, not signed. To Bill Pittman's point, I don't recommend that. That's one of the things that I think we should send back and ask for to be finalized. Additionally, I got too much right up here. I think the approach is the right one. I think that the town engineer, I think that the chair of Concom, I think that the town council all agree that it's a good approach. I'm sorry you're not seeing it right now. I will send it out personally tonight so everybody sees it. I would ask you have faith in what we've looked at, the four of us, and say that you approve the solution, but you want a stamped plan that's an October 5, 2022, prepared by Structures Engineering, requiring the final submittal of it signed and stamped. Further, I would say that the COC doesn't get released until the activity is completed. Okay, so those two things, and I would send back, I would go with those two votes knowing that the clear and convincing information is coming from town council review, my review, Chair Hannafin's review, and the town engineer's review. And I apologize you're not looking at it.
Are commissioners comfortable with moving forward without everyone seeing the plan?
I think I understand the description, but we make our vote subject
To the
stamped
stamped,
plan.
signed plan,
Just what I've given you as a motion, I think.
and no COC until,
So I didn't get it for you. Only Craig got to see it. She remembered it at least. It's called town council.
no, Bob Galvin is totally on board
He
with it.
said I
and-
concur, flat out.
Yes.
I have that, I
Yeah.
have emails. I don't know why they're not in here, because I guess we didn't move
Yeah, no,
anything over.
I have seen all those
Yeah.
emails, that's why I know
Yeah.
what the plan
We're
looks
not
like.
getting you every update on every single thing, I guess, what's happening with the COCs, et cetera. This one's a moving target. It's got more activity than your typical COC. Sorry.
So unless commissioners object, I would make a motion that we vote to approve the plan, subject to a stamped
The
signed.
solution proposed in the structural plans.
Okay, I move that we vote to approve the solution proposed in the structural plans dated October 5th, prepared by Structures Engineering, but we need a new plan with a signature.
And require the submittal of a final signed and stamped
Signed and
plan.
stamped plan.
Correct.
Second.
Bert, well done.
Dave Good, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Yes.
Craig Hannafin, yes.
Okay, great, and I will get you guys that tonight, 'cause I feel really bad.
Okay. SE 422569.
There's a second,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was saying vote to table to allow time for the applicant's representative to remove the unpermitted. So we'll tell Mr. Baird, Attorney Baird, that's a go, and he can do the work, and maybe it's done by November 2nd, you know? So in other words, he'll give us a final plan, and if we say, hey, good news, the commission approves that, go do it.
Okay.
And then maybe-
come back and we'll,
Yeah, and God only knows when it's gonna get done, but at least you've got that in the queue
Okay.
also.
all right. So I make a motion that we vote to table this until November 2nd.
Yep.
To allow the work to be done per the structural plans. And yeah, and then require a submittal of a final signed and stamped plan. May I have a second?
John, second.
Okay, that's messy. Who? You?
John.
No,
No,
Ken was faster
sorry.
than you. Okay, sorry about that, John.
Okay. Dave?
Dave Good, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Yes.
Craig Hannafin, yes.
600. Very good. I'm just gonna clean that up a lot.
All right.
Very nice. Take this one.
SE 422569, 11 Hancock Street. I move that we vote to approve and issue a complete certificate of compliance for SE 422569. May I have a second?
Second. Bert O'Donnell.
Dave?
Dave Good, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Craig, stop.
Whoa.
I made a mistake again. Sorry, this is an invalid one, okay? And so what I would do is, so the vote's not completed, right?
Okay, so this was work that never
It's an invalid,
commenced.
so I would just, I'd like to, revise the motion, because you didn't take a full vote, and you didn't stop it, so you're good. I don't think you need to revoke it, because you didn't complete the vote.
Okay.
I would just say, I'd like to revise the motion, vote to approve and issue an invalid certificate of compliance. And that's the proper tool to use here, because they never did the work.
All right.
Thanks.
I am going to make a new motion. This will be approved as an invalid COC, which is appropriate as the work never commenced.
Second. Bert O'Donnell.
Okay, there we go.
Dave Good,
Dave?
yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Joe Ring, yes.
And Craig Hannafin, yes.
Okay, thank God for Mike. All right.
And last COC is SE 422773, which we are going to table as we need more time to develop a resolution to this. So I move that we vote to table this until, do we want to do November 2nd?
She's already in the queue. This actually should be allow more time for the applicant to provide response to additional info request.
All right.
Yeah, sorry about that.
May I have a second?
Second.
David, good.
Dave?
Dave Good, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Joe Ring, yes.
Craig Hannafin, yes.
All right.
Okay,
Let's go back to
now we have an enforcement order. You want to take this, Bill?
Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna go to this here and I'm gonna see about, Mike set us up here nicely, so, all right, so this property here is down on Ridge Road. It's 219 Ridge Road. We've been talking to the applicant since Memorial Day, when I got a complaint about multiple truckloads of dirt being dumped back here on the marsh. Okay, this is an older picture, you can see. It's October 26, 2018. This property was the subject of a COC. There was a prior owner. They had an after-the-fact order of conditions. There were 2 conservation markers over here to prevent any downgradient activity in this area here. Those were removed. Next, we move up to April 5, 2019. You can see we're changing things going on in here. Doesn't look like that big of a deal. This dock is an unpermitted dock to somebody else. That'll be another day. Then we have, let's see, this one here. Again, it's sequential. It's July 21, 2019. We've put in grass, so they put in loam, obviously, which is a fill in this environment. They put in a path. They've got themselves a fire pit, all unpermitted. It continues there. We're starting to notice there's some activity going on in here. It's beyond what was there before. Similar. Notice that you've got, okay, let me go back real quick. Where's the boat come in? Watch for a boat. Okay, here we are, September 19th. Okay, there's the boat. So we're going to be having a boat that's going to be on the flats, which is sitting on there, and that's a no-no. We now have a shed, and we got some drums back here, God only knows what type. All right, and continue to watch this area right in here, which is getting filled progressively. We got the shed, we got the trailer empty, don't know where the... Yeah, what's that?
The drums are right behind the
Yeah,
trailer.
the drums are right behind the trailer for whatever they are. You know, we're getting more activity in here. This is 2021. More activity. You can see the hardscape being built up. Okay, they're trying to fill it. That's an awful lot of fill on salt marsh, tidal flat, riverfront. It's all not supposed to be touched because there were supposed to be conservation markers. You still got your boat. And then that's the last one. So what's been happening here is, and you see the pictures before, they've added a full 2 loads of material. There were going to be 4 loads coming in of the Memorial Day weekend. I put a cease and desist. The guy cooperated. He came in with his dad, and he met Mike Moresco, Craig, and I. We talked about why we have jurisdiction. We talked about all the options. He said that you know, he was losing his land, he said. And so this is well beyond that. This is like taking the land is what's happening. And there's been multiple things that we didn't know about until they hired a consultant just recently, and he asked to see the file, and I said, I'll do you better, I'll provide these aerials, and that's how I discovered this, that we have all these activities going on, not just the fill. The applicant is trying to propose an after-the-fact NOI. I talked to town council about this. There's some peculiarities going on with this house, this homeowner. They have some a medical ailment and are not able to participate any longer in the process of remedying this. I was under the impression that they might have just removed it in September or October. We've kind of been patient, and now we have an applicant that's hired a engineering company, Morris Engineering, to provide an after-the-fact NOI. The thought being from town council was memorialize it in an enforcement order and require certain activities. And what I've proposed in the enforcement order is that this will be removed and allowed to naturally attenuate, or removed and plant. It depends on the commission's desires. Or if they really want to do something down in here, they should use coir logs, which are soft solutions, and they have a biomass material, and they can plant in there, and then they'll have stability if that's what they actually want. So this is an unpermitted fill, and this is massive, and this is one of the biggest ones we have, and it's a peculiar situation. So those are the three things, and I was just, at this point, suggesting that the commission direct me to write an enforcement order on those three activities: remove and plant, or remove and go with a hybrid solution, so that we don't get astray and find out that we're getting more structure than you ever dreamed.
Is this open for discussion?
Yeah.
So my question is, I noticed the surveillance is pretty good here. Are there any violations to anyone's privacy with using these photos, you know, to obtain information on somebody? I mean, are they aware that these photos are being taken? I understand the work. I totally agree we need to come to a solution, but I just find this very violating, and I don't know if town council has looked at this.
He has.
Okay. And
So,
was there any
so to your
feedback?
point, just so we're on the same page, we didn't use a drone. We never use a drone. We use publicly available information. This is called Near Map. You see these two screens right here? There's
Yep.
also Google Earth. Also, you know, if you get some time and make an appointment with me, I'll show you some of the websites.
Yeah.
You can actually set a base map. It's quite helpful. And we would never go and use a drone. I've asked for it in the past, but to your point, you could have selective surveillance in that case, and so we don't have a drone. We don't have a drone fleet. If we did, we'd have a trillion of these things going on. This is a complaint from a neighbor, a resident, okay, who was concerned about this. So I want to point that out to you.
We use many forms of aerial mapping all the time, but all of it is public domain.
I mean, it's not
We
a
don't
code of
do-
law, but I do find this to be kind of troublesome for being a resident and having multiple. I mean, it's not like one or two. It seems like we're running full-blown, like, surveillance operations on citizens. That's all, just for the record.
So for the record, we don't take the pictures, we utilize what others take. It's public information, anybody can use it.
Sure.
For any purpose.
Right.
And bottom line is this, is I think you'll agree, you have 4 or 5 unpermitted activities.
You don't have
and
to
it's-
present it, though, Bill.
What's that?
It doesn't have to be presented.
That's what we always do. And they do this all over the state.
Right.
Those satellites are up there, clicking away all the time.
Absolutely. A lot of properties got photos of.
Standard practice. I mean, I appreciate your opinion, though. We wouldn't use a drone because we'd get in trouble for that, to your point.
So you want a motion
Just to direct me to do the 3
to do
action.
the
Yes.
enforcement orders?
Otherwise, you're gonna go all over the place. This guy's gonna spend a ton of money on the engineer. And I really personally think that he should have gone with the construction individual he was talking about, remove the material and go with a natural attenuation. I've never been at this point without the, engagement of the engineer and trying to help him out. And I just saw it, and he doesn't even know, but the homeowners do.
Right.
And they should have come for permits. And they shouldn't have taken the conservation markers out because they were there.
Have you had any other conversation with Greg Morse?
No, I just had those emails I think
Okay.
that you saw, and, the town council's given me opinion that this is a high-level one that needs to be dealt with.
Well, I would like to make a motion to authorize Administrator Grafton to enforce on this property. Do you want more detail?
That's it, I think it's just in your motion there,
Okay.
yeah. They both couldn't make it tonight, I did invite Greg, he's busy, and, I did invite, Mr. Ostrowski, who consulted with Greg, and he couldn't make it after that conversation.
So there is a motion on the table. May I have a second?
just to
That's
understand,
your room.
they can actually go 3 different ways.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm giving them 3 options, but I mean, you really have to restore
Okay,
this.
I thought you were asking us to choose an option.
No, I'll give them the
So-
3 options, because otherwise what's gonna happen is it's gonna stray.
Okay, sorry.
And there's the boat's a problem, they can never meet the priority, the regulations. We have problems with the other neighbors too, which we picked up on a different property and because of a notice of violation from the building commissioner. So now we're into 3 boats on other properties as well, and we need to knock on the door and tell them that's not gonna happen any longer. Because they can't meet the criteria, they have no DEP permit, and they have no conservation permit either.
Sorry, Craig.
No, not at all. Good clarification. Okay, I think I need a second.
I think Joe's second.
Did Joe second?
No, time to second.
Okay, Dave?
Dave Good, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Bill Wayne, yes.
And Craig Hannafin, yes.
6-0. All right, thank you. So enforcement orders can be friendly or not. That's all there is to it, depending on how it goes. This gives it some structure, memorializes it. So just, for anybody who's got concerns about it.
And 45 Winslow Street.
Yeah, that one's a little different. Let me get into that.
Is Mr. Tobin?
No, he's not gonna make it tonight. We
Okay.
did talk to him. I did speak to him directly. I also talked to town council. You gotta bear with me because I'm a little slow on this stuff. All right, so you're gonna go away, adios. And do we have, that's gonna be, I believe here, right? Yes, okay, good, that's still open. Hancock, Ferry, Ostrowski, here we go. Okay. Oh, Christ. Okay. Next time you can do this. All right, so, all right, we'll share it up here. All right, share. All right, so for whatever reason, it's being a pain for me today. All right, so we're gonna go reduce the size of it. Okay, so, all right, so let me just scroll down a teeny tiny bit. All right, so this is Winslow here. We get a call and a complaint on this property about trees on this Concom land, and we get involved in that, and in the process, we notice all this activity way down in here, okay? And then we also notice this back in here, but we're focusing in on this. So Craig, Chair Hannafin, Conservation Agent Seeley and I go down and review it, and we provide them with a request for them to contact us. And so that ensues a conversation with Mr. Tobin, who's a very nice individual. He's been staying in touch, and he informs us after we speak to him that he thinks he's got rights there, and he thinks that this was a private road. It's no longer a private road. Town council has given some feedback on this. Town council is very concerned about this back here. I was gonna let that go because he's got a permit over here he needs a COC. I thought that could get wrapped up later. The town council wants this to be dealt with. He thinks conservation markers, pulling back this shed here, getting it off the town property and whatever's going on here, and letting it naturally attenuate would be the right way to go. Over here, because of the prior permit, which was, what's the age of it? It is SE 42 dash, do I have it? Like 861 or something like that from 94, I believe. I didn't write it down, so sorry. Can't write it all down. And it shows a very slight overlap right about there where the driveway is, and the shed is slightly overlapped also. So in other words, the commission back in 94 saw that there was some encroachment, but it's gotten worse. So we've been trying to encourage him to pull back the firewood, pull back the garbage cans, pull back the fill, and let it kind of naturally attenuate. Town council's given the commission a couple of options. One of them's a license. We'll talk about that a little bit more to maintain this, but not encroach any further. Alternatively, they can be allowed to be on there and progressively pull out from that area. Again, we'd have conservation markers that start to conflict in here, and town council was going to seek out whether or not he could use his budget to survey this, because to get it right, we'd actually have to survey it and make sure we're not on his property, because then we'd be doing the wrong thing and we'd be trespassing. So we got some things going on due to the fact that Mr. Tobin wanted to exercise his right out in here. Town council obviously is like to see this going sooner. I'd like to see it part of the conservation request for COC on this side of the coin here. And on the terms of licenses, the commission looked at that once before on Cherry Street at the very end. There's a cul-de-sac, it's not quite a cul-de-sac, but there's a house down there. The house is actually literally on the town-owned property, the house. And so there's a permit to actually pick it up and move it away, but the new current owners are not interested in going down that
All right,
pathway.
we don't need to discuss.
So the
other
commission
than-
heavily looked at this, and they decided they didn't want a license. They had an attorney involved, et cetera. If you put licenses
Bill,
down,
we're talking, let's,
I'm talking about licenses now. And so this license that town council's talking about would be similar to that one, and the commission voted no on that one. No,
no,
Cherry Street?
no.
Negatory.
Ultimately, no.
no.
We went around and around, but it,
They got the enforcement dropped, they pulled the bricks, they put the conservation markers 50% where they wanted them, and that was the end of
I
that.
agree, let's stick at the issue at hand.
But a license would open you up all over town to do this. So I don't think you should go there personally. But the advice of town council is work with this guy on here, because he's got some long-term permit use, because the driveway, which I can't show you right now, and also the shed is slightly on there, based on a prior plan that the commission looked at for this property here, for an addition. So, in other words, he's indicated that he'll be moving, and he wants to retreat out of there. Some of these things are like plows and so on, and it's his son's stuff, and he's gonna move it out of there. So, I think we need to come up with a flexible approach to kind of guide him out of there. And now, we gotta put markers up with the town council's advice and try the right thing along in somewhere in here, so we
Well,
can.
number one, do we have a real drawing? These assessors maps are not necessarily accurate.
No, I agree. I'm gonna see what I got. I'm not sure I have it.
If there was a permit for that pool, you should have a drawing, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go try to dig that out, because I believe we put it in, Mike and I put it in to the Google Drive, which, let's go find it. All right, bear with me, commissioners. We want to get out of that, go into
Number
current.
two, it looks like that land was only acquired by the Conservation Commission in 2013, is that correct?
That I don't know, but that didn't come up with town council. And they'd probably tell you, I'm guessing, that it doesn't matter when they bought it, but that's a good, interesting point. Let me go in here and see if you get that plan that you wanted. I don't have it. I don't know why I don't have it, but I don't have it. Guess we didn't put it in there after all. We do have a plan, I can email it to you. And it shows slight overlaps. And town council said, well, with that, and I also read the minutes, this is my fault, I didn't get to it. The minutes also show that the commission looked at the plan, which had those two overlaps that were slight, and there was really no deliberation on it. But this other stuff has happened probably more recently, since 94, 96. That's where you are, you know?
but we have a homeowner who honestly believed that that was a paper road and that he had some sort of permission to
Yeah.
use that.
So town
mean,
council said that wasn't really the thing. He's saying a license, and he's saying, or, you know, allow him to use it, but pull back, basically, put up conservation markers. And this is a lower level encroachment in his opinion. But he wants the rear handled,
I
and
mean, the last thing I heard from town council was that he was going to instruct him to get off the land.
this was in an email that he ended up sending. He ended up sending an email to Mike Maresco and I, and Mike and I had talked to him. Isn't this the one? Is this the one?
Yeah, it said markers on the rear line.
Yeah, I sent it to you guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, you, okay,
We-
so
we
you saw
have
it, okay.
Markers on the rear line and possible license on the other part.
So, but he's got encroachments on structure back there too, and I advised him, I said, look, handle that under the request for certificate of compliance before you go. Because you're gonna get you're gonna hit by a lien by the realtors, because you've got recorded orders, solve it. Now he's gonna have to solve it faster, you know, because he pushed the road thing.
So in the discussion with town council, what is the owner's,
Well,
what
I
was
think
his response? What
he
does he
said,
wanna do?
he said it's town land, that's basically what it is. But because in the morning I spoke to Bob and I explained that the plans, because I found them in the morning, and showed it to him, I said, there's a slight overlap. And I was looking for the minutes, and the minutes said the commission looked at the plan and they didn't deliberate further on the encroachments.
My question is, Mr. Tobin,
Yeah,
what does he, now that he has been informed that he's encroaching on town land, what is his response? Is he willing to get off the land?
well, 30 days ago, he was encouraging me that he was gonna progressively leave and work with this over time. But I got a call from some people on his behalf, and I said, these are the facts, and I told him everything I'm telling you tonight.
But he's indicated that he's going to retreat.
I think he's a cooperative guy. I think overall, you know, what you say, Mike?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think he's a cooperative guy, but I gotta give him some direction. And if town council will pay for the survey, then we can put up markers, and that's the beginning of the process, and he'll start to figure it out. He's gotta get out of there. I think the shed's a pain to move, but we did that before with a property on, Prince Point, I believe it was. You know? It was down by the wetlands, it got moved to the 25.
So, you're saying you want to write a letter to Mr. Tobin requiring the removal of his property from them.
I think this thing is
And
involved.
additionally, you want to write a letter to town council
Mm-hmm.
requesting a survey.
Yeah, because he offered it, and he offered it with Mike and I. He offered it a second time. He didn't write it in the email, but that might die in the vine. We do have some budget, so maybe we use some of that, but I don't want to be doing a lot of that. It's for our land management.
Right, I was going to ask you, who pays for that?
Yeah. So, typically, you get the applicant, the in violator to do it, but he feels that there's some rights here due to the fact that there's overlap, and because we have a long-going, usage of it, and he's trying to protect from additional litigation.
Okay.
Which is what they did in 98 Sherry, and we don't want that.
Right.
Okay? It costs the town a ton of money. So we're trying to have an amicable approach with it. I think this guy is a level 2, level 3, and, he's cooperating. As long as he gets the direction from the commission in a unified way, I think he'll slowly, progressively get out of there, and it doesn't have to be super heavy-handed on him.
Okay, so unless someone else has another idea or an objection, I am going to suggest we vote to direct Conservation Administrator to issue a letter requiring the removal of the property, and additionally, that we have the Conservation Administrator draft a letter to Town Council requesting support for survey work.
Can I add one thing? This first motion here, requiring the progressive removal of his property from the town-owned land under the care and custody of the commission. So that way, he has time and we don't have to set a limit, and he keeps the momentum going.
All right. Anyone have any objections to this?
No, and
Or-
just if he sent a note to you, Bill, that he could not come tonight, right?
Yeah, and I spoke to him too, and then
So,
some of his people called me
I
too.
think this letter can go forward, but, he should get a chance to respond.
Yeah,
He could come back if he wants,
So
but,
none of this is binding, it's
right,
yeah,
right.
just the next step.
All right.
approaches are tricky,
I move that we vote to direct the Conservation Administrator to draft and issue a letter to Mr. Tobin requiring the the progressive removal of his property from the town-owned land under the care and custody of the Conservation Commission. May I have a second?
Second.
John?
Dave?
Dave Good, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes?
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Yes.
Craig Hannafin, yes. And secondly, I move that we vote to direct the Conservation Administrator to draft and issue a letter to Town Council requesting support for the survey work along the property line between the town-owned land under the care and custody of the Conservation Commission, parcel number 10-08-46, and 45 Winslow,
Right there, yeah.
K10-0101, bounding the estimated.
I'd strike that part, because now he wants
Okay.
the rear, because it's both sections now.
Okay.
Because of council's involvement, which didn't have to happen right now.
May I have a second?
Second.
John O'Donnell.
Dave?
Dave Good, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes?
Ken Dodge, yes.
Joe Wynn, yes.
Craig Hanafin, yes.
Okay.
And that concludes our business, so I make a motion to close the Marshfield Conservation Commission meeting for October 19th, 2022. May I have a second?
Second.
I'm going with Dave on that because I heard him before you, John, sorry.
Dave?
Dave Good, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Ken Dodge, yes.
Joe Wynn, yes.
Craig Hanafin, yes. We are adjourned.
Nice, okay, no talking, no talking.